Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
I am Christiana Ellis. I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Chooch Schubert as Sequential,
Hello, hello.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn,
Good evening.
Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift,
Hello, friends.
Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry Shiny Rock,
I wonder if it's possible to invent new kinds of questions.
and Vivid Muse as Trina of Harlee.
If it is, you'll find a way, Nedry.
Thanks.
So, let's talk about what happened last time on So Many Levels. You have been exploring the ruins of Chanticleer Academy, so what's up? Anyone remember?
We went around and explored more of the castle and fought more of the undead and possibly not undead things, and they seem to get progressively nastier. And we saw flashbacks to some of the students attempting to fight the big bad that apparently slaughtered them all, and then some of the younger students trying to run away, one of whom got thrown out of a window and put a hole in the roof of one of the outbuildings.
It would appear, too, that there's some sort of weird experiment they were doing. A rather intriguing one, potentially involving the actual manifestation and or control of a spirit, which doesn't seem to have completely been successful. Also, some sort of paranoia and or predatory attitude, as well as inter-student problems. They didn't seem to really get along. In fact, they seem to possibly have been going insane. But that may also just been the pressure.
And then there was the mystery of the person who changes their face.
Right.
Indeed. So many mysteries afoot here in Chanticleer Academy. So let's discover some more and maybe some answers to them. So, we return you to the map here. You're in this hallway on the third floor. Carolina, Trina, and Sequential are on kind of like a balcony that is, exposed to the grounds below. And Nedry and Zinhorn in the hallway here that leads further to the west. You had just come from the east wing, and you were headed westward as you continue to explore the house.
Yeah.
So just because we're outside, Trina's going to sniff. Is there anything on the air that makes it smell unfamiliar or like indicative of being in a pocket dimension? Like it doesn't smell like we're in the middle of town anymore, right?
No, it doesn't. Go ahead and make a perception check with advantage because you're good at smelling.
We'll have to make sure that Trina gets full credit in the records that she's able to smell alternate planes.
So that would be 18.
So,
Sorry, 17.
okay, well, still. One of the things that you have had pretty persistently in your enormous trunk nose during your explorations of the house is just this musty, dusty, aging rot that the house has been undergoing. And it's not a pleasant smell. It's not quite the same as like rotting flesh, but it's just like an old house that's been closed up. And so as you emerge here onto a balcony, there's a part of you that's just really kind of wanting the air to be fresher out there, right? Like, oh, let's step out, get some fresh air. The problem is, like, the smell isn't as intense, but the air just feels stale and unmoving here. And very still, like there's no breeze at all, and you just sort of feel like You know, you're here on the third floor, so you're looking out and you can see over some of the trees, but you can't see anything outside the walls of these grounds. And, you know, for all you know, the grounds that this mansion sits on consists of the entirety of this pocket dimension.
Cool, cool, cool. No fresh air today, lads.
So there is a doorway off the balcony right there, and then kind of a double door right here at the end of this hallway that goes into the next bit of hallway. But there's a double doors that are closed at the moment.
Yep. Let's move on up. Move on up.
All right. So you open there and reveal another hallway. There's a doorway on your left, and then the hallway turns to the right at the end there. And you can see through the windows here at the end of the hallway that you're in right there. You can see through those windows up onto a peaked roof and the domed glass ceiling of the central hall.
Okay.
Are you coming sequential? You distracted by the balcony?
Coming.
All right. So, Nedry, the doorway that you're standing near is open just a crack, but you can't see much inside.
I'll push it open carefully.
All right.
I don't want to get splinters.
So, as you open that doorway, you see what looks like a conference room with a long table and chairs. But as you peek into that room, somewhat like the entities you fought on the floor below, the shadows seem to swell and transform into shadow creatures. And we are going to, once again, roll initiative.
Yay!
Huh. Splinters might be a good name for this kind of creature.
We're feeling a
Rolled it
bit
with
more.
dice.
'Cause,
All right. I rolled a 3, but it didn't register.
okay, so did you have your token selected?
No, probably not.
Well, so yeah, that's the way. But you can also type it in manually.
Okay.
Where do I type it in manually? Because I rolled actual
Well,
dice.
so do you have the turn tracker over on the left?
Mm-hmm.
You just, if
Just
you
click
see
on
where
that.
it says 0, you can just click on the 0 and type it in.
Thanks. I knew that at one point. I rolled low. Sorry, y'all.
You know. So did the shadow creatures, so I think you're going to be okay. So, let's get some combat drums going here. So, Carolina, I think probably, so Nedry, you saw these things first. Did you kind of make a noise or gasp or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. I think there's more of them. 2, maybe more. They're kind of fuzzy and made of shadow.
Yeah, these do seem a little different than the ones you fought on the floor below, just in their movement pattern. Those really seemed like much more of a distinct shape to them, and they were made of shadow stuff, but like there's a more coherent outline. These really seem like just like swelling, flowing fluid motion. But Carolina, you are able to act first.
Okay, well, these look a little bit new, but I'm going to try Mind Sliver again.
Okay.
So it's Intelligence 14.
Okay. I suppose it would help if I had their stats handy. Okay, Intelligence 14. And they got a 15.
Alright, And I don't think they get any. They don't take anything from that
Yeah. Okay.
because
So
it's just a cantrip.
right. So they don't seem to react to that. Although generally speaking, so far, like you haven't really seen them do much of anything, so you don't really know their behavior yet. So, any movement?
No, I'm good where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm surrounded on almost all sides by meat
Sure.
shields.
All
And
right.
Nedry.
Yeah. Sequential.
Sequential is going to wander in. And I guess the one over here on the east side, firebolt.
Okay. And roll it. A 20 will definitely hit.
20. So, aw.
So here's the
Um.
thing: you hit it, but you know as it goes out that this is not one of the better firebolts you've ever done. It sputters a little bit, and as you see it impact this creature, you would have expected it to burn it at least a little bit, but it seems to just fizzle out entirely and not affect the creature at all.
Interesting. I'm worried that these are going to have that kind of magical darkness effect thing, so I'm going to charge at, I guess, this one.
Okay.
To
So are
theory,
you
keep them apart.
you hopping up over the table?
Oh,
I'll consider it difficult
There's a
terrain,
table.
but you can move. Yeah, you can do it.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a big conference room table there.
right.
So you could also scuttle under it if you'd prefer.
Yeah, over. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, so it's difficult terrain to go over it, but you you have enough movement to do that.
Parkour.
Parkour. All right. So any other activities, or you're just
No.
trying to keep them from being adjacent?
Yep.
All right. That would make it Nedry's turn.
Time to experiment, I guess, and see what happens in the field. Let's see. I'm gonna move over here. There was a door here too to the outer.
Yes. That door has a glass window, but you're actually probably too short to see it. It's like the half, the waist level up. But yeah, it's just the door to the balcony.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I can try this. I'm going to cast at that one. Let's see. Let's try acid. And I'm going to
Okay.
cast chromatic orb at it
All right.
at first level.
Okay.
That's terrible. That is a 15 to hit.
15 does hit.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's.
These things have kind of a large silhouette, which is ironic given that they're made of shadow stuff, but meaning as they rise up, you don't see like the shape of legs. You just sort of see this draping, profile as they rise up, and they're relatively easy to hit.
Oh, that's bonus. That is 8 points of acid damage.
Okay, you fire that out and you see it impact, and as it strikes this shadow creature, it absorbs the acid, but it looks like the acid doesn't do as much damage as you expected because it is partially insubstantial and only seems to take about half of the damage you expected.
Interesting. They seem to be somewhat absorbent. I'll keep trying different kinds of magic until I find one that works.
All right. So, that's the end of your turn?
Yes.
Okay, Trina. Are you muted?
I was three
Okay.
screens
Okay.
deep and trying to get back to my mute button.
Oh, no worries.
She's going to come in and they're not invisible, correct? She
Correct.
can see them?
Correct, you can see him.
So she's gonna go around the table. Plenty of movement speed. Oh wait, where's my 120? So she's gonna just enter and go around the table to this one and swing.
Okay. One note on the subject of how visible they are. The light is dim in here, and they are a little hard to see, not in a mechanical sense here, but just in the sense that they're shadow and there's lots of other shadow. It seems like they could hide in the shadows pretty easy.
Sure.
But go ahead and make your attack.
And so that is
That's a 20 to hit.
So 20. So
Okay.
7 points of damage.
All right. And here's the thing, too, that you, as you swing this scimitar, infused with magic from Sequential's efforts, you find that your scimitar slices into its shadowy form in a way that looks much more solid than the previous attacks, and you do full damage.
Sweet.
It is seriously damaged by that, but not destroyed.
Well, I'm gonna swing with my short sword then.
Okay.
See if I can't make a bigger impact.
All right.
Is that another 20?
It
It
is.
is. It's another 20. Hey.
Woot, woot, woot.
I guess I'll stick with roll 20 with rolling through virtual instead of actual dice, because that's nice.
All right. So
9
that's
points of damage.
9, but you find that your non-magical short sword is not as effective
Sure.
and only gives half damage. So the thing is pretty weakened now, but still not destroyed.
Sure. Taking a knee so that the shorties can swing.
All right. Well, it is now time for the shadows to begin their attack. So I think this one is going to go up and attack Nedry for shooting acid at it. And it reaches out a shadowy limb towards you, and even without quite touching you, you can see it's got some sort of a radiant, radiating, I should say, not radiant like brightly lit, but just emanating from magical energy, and but it only gets an 8 to hit, and so it is gonna miss you. You're able to duck out of the way of its attack.
Down here.
The other one that you were just fighting, Trina, is going for you. And it gets a 21 to hit.
That hits.
And it's going to do... It's interesting that it didn't roll the same way that time. Interesting. So it does 11 necrotic damage.
Yoinks.
And your strength score is reduced by 2.
Huh.
Whoa.
I don't like it.
So what that means is that anything that you do that's strength based for now is going to have an automatic -1 to it.
-1. Okay.
So -1 compared to what it would normally be. Not like, it's not D20 -1. It is D20 plus your normal bonus -1. All right, and then from down this shadowy hallway, more of them swarm out.
Oh. All right.
All right, so Carolina, you're getting 2, and Zinhorn, you're getting 2. That's a 6 to hit for the first one, Carolina. Probably gonna miss there. And then a 19.
That'll hit.
Okay, for only 5 necrotic damage for you. And then your strength score is going to be reduced by 1. Zinhorn, 2 towards you.
Okay.
The first attack is an 11 to hit, probably misses.
Nope.
And then the second one is actually a crit. It's a 24 to hit. It's only gonna, so it's gonna do 11 necrotic damage.
Ow.
And your strength score is going to be reduced by 2.
Ow.
Yeah. All right. Now it's your turn, though.
Okay. Let me see what I got here.
In the chat, Peyton Poke says, so is this what happened to the professors? Now constantly in a state of being upset for you guys being too loud in the halls?
I am going to pull out my mace and attack the one below me and to the right that's attacking Carolina.
Okay.
And I got a that'll be a 19 to hit.
So it is, that does hit.
Okay. And that'll be 4 points of damage.
So unfortunately, it seems to only take half of that because your mace is not magical.
Okay.
But you do strike it, and your mace kind of partially passes through where it's insubstantial, and so you do connect some, but it's not as solid as a hit as it felt like it ought to have been.
Okay. And whoops, I am casting Spiritual Hammer.
Let's get out that hammer. I don't know why I sang it, but here's that spiritual hammer for
Yeah.
you to attack with now. Where you want it?
Oh, right there.
All right.
And I got an 18 to hit.
18 does hit. And 9 force damage. And that does hit solidly in the way that your mace did not, and does full damage. So
Okay.
that one is injured but not destroyed.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
It already did it.
So, you've got any, like, you don't really have anywhere easy to move.
Nope. I'm just I'm staying right there.
Okay. So, Carolina, we're back up to you.
Well, she kind of looks to the side at Zinhorn. Is like, oh, I don't want to hurt him, so I can't use that. And I'm gonna take out the rapier that Sequential was so kind to.
Oh, is that
Fancy
one
up.
infused now also?
Yep.
Great.
Mhm.
And if I can get this thing to click. Wait. That was the wrong
Okay.
thing. Sorry, my bad. There we go.
17 does hit. And since you rolled damage first, we can go ahead and use that number.
Sure.
And
5.
that just happens to be exactly the amount that you needed, that you pierce this thing and you see the magic shimmering off of it just dissipate the form of this shadow entirely, and it disappears.
Oh wow, that's so cool. Thanks, Sequential.
It worked.
All right. Anything else?
Nope. I'm staying where I'm at. We got 3 more here, so if
Yeah.
I move.
It's true. Okay, Sequential, you're up.
I was trying. There's many more of these things, so. Sequential's going to go ahead and activate the Hypnotoad.
Oh.
The mini Eldritch Cannon, little frog shapey on his shoulder. It cannot blast away yet. It costs an. Or can it? It costs an
you know what?
action to create it. Once you create it, it's a bonus action to make it fire. So hey,
I have got a cute little frog thing, I think.
Actually, it just goes. This one's is mounted, like it stays on them.
Yeah. Okay, so it'll stay on you.
Yeah. So I'll put the little gear on there.
Okay,
Little
yeah,
wrench.
that's great.
So yeah, so it's a bonus action to attack. So bonus action. And I'm actually going to fire at the one in the doorway
Okay.
to try to draw its ire since
Mm-hmm.
they're susceptible. Okay.
Yeah. The
And
behavior
so that
you've seen so
attack-
far is they do seem to go after the ones that have attacked them.
Let's see, where do I easily click this? Okay, here we go. Force Ballista. No. Trying to see and then the character sheet how to make it
Oh.
roll for me. Since it's a feature, it's not like a spell or a
Well, you can use
I'll
the dice
just roll
down
it.
on the bottom left to just pull
Yeah.
up those dice. That'll work too.
just a good old fashioned. No, so that's going to be a +5. That's only an 11.
11 unfortunately does miss. It goes a little bit wide and hits the ceiling, into the hallway a little bit and rains plaster dust down over Carolina and Zinhorn.
So then that's it for me.
Okay. Nedry.
Okay. He pulls out his pen and starts to write in the air, tracing blue magical lines. I was really hoping to test this in a more controlled environment, but since you don't seem to be entirely impervious to magic, maybe I can make this work. And as he's tracing out, the people at home, unfortunately nobody in the room can really see the magical symbols traced around what looks like a reasonable facsimile of the side of Zinhorn's head.
Whoa.
And after a moment, he pokes through the middle of the spell. It dissipates. He kind of licks his lips. Huh, feels kind of tingly. He opens his mouth, and with dragon's breath,
Whoa.
spews forth lightning at the creature in front of him. Just to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Very nice. Let's see that dexter. They get a 14.
14 meets.
Okay, so that's gonna
That's be half damage then.
Yep. All right.
So that's 7 points of lightning damage.
Okay.
Wow, that really stings.
So would have been 14 and now it's 7, or did you?
No,
have
no,
it
I
or
rolled
no?
7.
Okay.
I rolled 7. So
All right. So it would have been
three.
3, but unfortunately, once again, it seems that this thing is resistant to lightning as well. So it ends up being 1.
1, yeah.
Yeah. It does take the 1 though.
Well, hey, that's about all I can do.
It has on its shoulder just this little trail of smoke coming up off of it, and it just.
Nedry's ecstatic. The spell worked. I did it. It's not exactly the same. Can you see it? Can you see it, Zinhorn? And you can't see it at all.
Yeah, Zinhorn is like.
No.
Meanwhile, cut to Zinhorn surrounded by these shadows in the hallway. Ah! Little busy. All right. That makes it Trina's turn.
If I remember correctly, sequential did not hit the dude in front of me, right?
Correct.
Correct.
He actually attacked a different one anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna attack this dude in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a
22 will definitely hit.
dang.
Well, so technically it would be a 21 technically because of your current strength deficit, correct?
Well, I was gonna ask you because I went to change it and it's changed. So either I accidentally changed something or I was asking if you changed something.
Oh, well,
But it would have been higher. This is with a +5 instead of a +7.
Okay.
Yeah, I
so
did something.
it should only be 1 lower in terms of the roll. So like the
Okay.
strength score of 18 or whatever would go to 16, but that will only reduce the modifier by 1. But in any case, even if it was like a 22 would definitely still hit. And so if the damage, you know what? We'll just roll with
That's modified, so that should be correct.
Okay, so that's 8 magical damage from your magical scimitar, and you destroy it. You cut it into pieces, and the pieces just evaporate like flash paper.
Cool. Yay!
Yeah.
So then I'll use my movement to go around to this other one, since that's what I see. And
You probably noticed that the wall behind it and the chair and the table are all scorched with electrical damage.
I mean, how could that not attract me right to it? So I'm going to swing with my short sword.
Okay. Looks like a 7 to hit is not going to do it.
Not good.
Nope.
That's a miss.
Okay. It is the Shadow's turn again. The one right by you, Nedry, is going to attack you. Gets a 15 to hit.
Okay. Since these look... No, he needs to know what the effect is like. So he's not going to do a magic spell.
Okay, he's going to let him hit it. Let it hit him just to see. It's brave experimentation. All right, so that's going to be 4 necrotic damage that you take. Not too bad, really. And then your strength is reduced by 1. The ones in the hallway are going to continue to attack the ones they were attacking before, since Sequential's Force Ballista didn't attract its attention. So you're getting 1 to Carolina and 2 more for Zinhorn. So for Carolina first, it's a 10 to hit. Probably not going to do it. Ooh. Then for Zinhorn, there's an 11 and a 13. 13 do it?
Both fail.
All right, so they miss. They miss with their various attacks. You're fending them off with your mace for the moment. All right, that is their turn. It is now your turn again, Zinhorn.
All right, I am going to cast. Well, actually, I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt.
Okay.
At the one down and to my left, or the left. Sorry.
Oh, or this one.
Down. That one.
All right.
And that's it. 12 to hit.
Okay, a 12 just hits.
Yay! And 13 points of radiant damage.
So as soon as you strike this thing with radiant damage, it's like just the bright light of it just completely annihilates it. It's gone.
Oh! Alright, and I'm going to bring over my spiritual hammer to attack the one that's attacking Carolina.
All right. Let's see that beautiful spectral hammer damage. So it's a 14 will definitely hit.
And 4 points of damage from the spiritual hammer.
Okay, and it does take all 4, but that one hadn't been hit yet, so it's still pretty hardy. One thing you might notice in Roll20 is if you click the name of the weapon from the original attack roll, it'll do the damage automatically.
Oh, that's okay. I was wondering why it was only doing it sometimes. Thank you.
All right, so that makes it Carolina's turn.
And she's just so excited that the rapier worked so well on that last one that she is going to thrust forward with her sword at the one below Zinhorn there. Oh.
All right, a 15 does hit.
Nice.
Wow.
Sweet.
12 piercing damage with the... so that I'm just impressed because once again you get the kill shot.
Sequential, this is so great.
Zinhorn loosened it up for you with his spiritual weapon, but you managed to destroy that one. Yeah, Carolina just has the grace of the gods apparently for getting the kill shot on all sorts of things. Anyway, anything else for your turn, Carolina?
I will let's see. I'm gonna actually move here. No, I'm gonna move here so that people can come through the doorway if they want to, and he can move his hammer. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Did
like,
you
bring it on. I'm ready for ya.
were you moving? I thought you were saying
Oh,
you were
I
moving.
did-
but
I
your-
did.
Your token hasn't moved.
It didn't catch up on the thing. Yeah, I moved it.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there we go.
There it goes.
All right, yeah. I don't know why that took a little while, but all right, it's good there now. So, Sequential, your turn.
All right. Sequential will go ahead and parkour back over the table.
Mm-hmm.
Force Ballista. Let's see. On the one under Nedry.
All right.
Roll that again. Wink. Which is 13 plus 5 is an 18.
That'll hit.
And damage. Where is my damage? There we go. Well, that's so weird. So, in one place it had the damage, like the little thing with the icon that lit up, and it's under the actions, it's not there, but under features, it is there. It's just weird.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
What is my damage? It is 2.
Complex interfaces of multiple pieces of
Right.
complex software.
2d6. There we go. 5 points of force damage.
All right. It is knocked backward a bit and reels from the impact, but is not destroyed.
Which it says it would, yeah, not do anything. And let's make the other one. Let's, as an action, use my eye beams to do Frostbolt and make it do a Constitution 13 saving throw.
Okay. It gets a 9, so it fails.
Fails, so it takes some 5 points of frosty damage.
All right. Well, it only takes 2 points of frost damage. You see, a lot of the cold energy gets seeped up just by the floor and wall, apparently, but it does look a little bit colder.
And should have disadvantage on its next attack.
All right. I will put a little marker on it to indicate that. Blue for cold. All right. Anything else on your turn? Movement?
And I think I'll just stay there because people can walk through me if they need to.
Sure. Okay. Nedry, you're up.
Okay. Oh, hi, Trina. Oh, I gotta back up a little bit and move it. I think this is going to kind of once again just sort of spews forward from his mouth,
Yeah.
trying to angle it so he's not going to hurt Trina in this particular thing. That just sort of pours over the area.
It got the same roll as another 14 for the dex.
So another half damage. That's better. Half of 13.
Okay, so half of 13 would be, 6 rounding down, and then it is resistant, so it rounds, it halves that again, so that's 3. It has 1 hit point left.
God.
You can see it take more damage from that one, and it looks like it's very weak and it's sort of moving erratically now, but it is not destroyed.
These things need to be a little more substantial, maybe. That's the end of my turn.
You definitely would have killed it if it had failed its saving throw, for sure. But it didn't. Trina, how about you?
Swing scimitar.
Yeah. An 8, unfortunately, is not going to hit.
Swing short sword.
16 will hit,
Cool.
as long as you do enough damage that half is more than 1. 6 damage? Yes, you do destroy it. Alright. Well done.
I'd like to move towards the door, so I'll be
Okay.
getting back to roll 20 to do that as soon as I remember what. tab
Well,
it's
I'll
on.
move you if you want. Do you want to be out into the hallway next to the other
Yeah,
one?
she'd run out in the hall because she
Alright.
heard noise.
Excuse me, pardon me.
Oopsie.
Yeah. Okay. It is the Shadow's turn now. And I think that it is going to attack Zinhorn.
It's got a thing for me.
Well, you did annihilate one of the
It
one that
has
was
a
right
taste.
next to it. And it was
It has
already
a
attacking
flavor.
you anyway, you know. It gets a 14 to hit. Nope.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. But then that is its turn. So now it's your turn, Zinhorn.
I'm going to do my spiritual hammer first.
Okay,
So I'm going to move that over to the left.
like that.
Yep. And
I think I did make it so. Oh, you know what? Here.
New token. Who dis?
You should be able to move it now. But
okay.
yeah, I need to remember to do that. Set that so it'll stay that way, and I don't have to remember to set it every time. But in any case, 20 to hit does hit, and it does 10 force damage,
Max damage.
which is a pretty hard hit for this thing, but it's not down.
Okay. And do I want to do another guiding bolt? Yeah, sure. Let's just take it out of commission.
Okay, a 15 does hit. 5 radiant damage. Once again, just it goes up like radiant damage is just. It's especially vulnerable to that, and it's just immediately gone. And we're no longer in initiative.
All right. And I am going to cast Cure. So, yeah, I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself because I am less than half right now.
Well, and not to mention the fact that I think you and Nedry and Trina all suffered some strength drain.
Yes.
I did too.
Okay, yeah. So everyone
I'm down
who,
20 hit points.
yeah,
I'm
everyone
only
who
down
took
5,
some.
so I'm good.
Hey, Zinhorn, is my tongue supposed to go numb?
What'd you lick, Nedry?
It's a
Carolina's
spell.
just kind of brandishing her sword around the hall. It's like, that was so cool. Do they have any more? Just kind of like poking at different shadows along the corners of the walls and everything.
You're tougher than you advertise, Carolina. That's impressive.
Sure, they'll make
Sword,
more.
Did you see the sword? Sequential, this is so cool.
I know you get 5 back.
I'm sorry, who?
You.
Trina.
Trina.
Yay, thank you.
All right. So while you're kind of checking yourselves, making sure you're all okay.
Is there anything special about this room?
It
Yeah,
looks
I
like
need to
it was
actually
kind of just
investigate.
a conference room, meeting room sort of thing, or even maybe a dining room, because it's mostly just tables and chairs with a couple of like side tables and everything. But underneath the table, you see a scrap of paper with alternating messages of 2 different handwriting, prints, 2 different forms of handwriting. I don't know how you say that. Anyway, the first message says, "Quiet, it's close." Second response says, "Professor Velrai across hall?" ? And then the first handwriting saying, "Better to stay," and then it kind of like drags off the paper, and that's all that's on it.
I did another Cure Wounds for Trina for another 5 points. So that's a total of 10.
Thank you.
Do the handwritings compare to the other ones we've found so far?
I'm gonna say no. I don't. I'm going to just go ahead and let you know that in my designing of the various puzzles, I did not use common handwritings as like one of the clues. So
Okay.
it's not an unreasonable
He's a scribe,
thing to
so
be.
it's
Yeah,
the kind
no,
of thing he looks for.
it makes perfect sense, and I applaud you for thinking to check that. However, I didn't think to check that. Didn't
Cool.
think about that when I designed it. So I don't have like a complex, interconnected series of if you could just figure out that this handwriting matches that. I don't. So Yeah, you don't recognize the handwriting.
I think those were a couple of the students who were. I think those were a couple of the students who were trapped in here. That's a really weird effect. It's like it sort of cleaned out my teeth too. How do you do that, Zinhorn?
Clean
Does it
their
come
clocks.
from down deep inside, or do you find it in your teeth?
It tends to go down my teeth and leave my tongue alone, but that may be just our different way that our bodies are built.
Oh. Well, it's not really built into my body. It's a magic spell, but I'll keep that in mind.
Try and
think I'll
keep your
tinker
tongue
with it.
out of the way.
Yeah. I've never really had to throw up at somebody before.
One
It
other
wasn't
thing.
particularly effective.
One other thing you do notice is when you look out the windows to the south, you see that there are two sort of mini towers that are, flank the front entrance. You had downstairs bypassed those areas that you saw that had small spiral staircases, and so now on the third floor you can see that those two staircases each apparently go to isolated rooms with no other connection. So there's no way to get there from here. You would have to go back downstairs and around again to those stairs.
All right. Well, I have a single first level spell left. So I'm going to suggest that we go somewhere to recharge after.
I'm not really feeling well. I'm feeling pretty weak. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what that's
that's
about.
the other thing. Like, my strength is down.
I would recommend not letting them touch you in the future. It was an interesting experiment, but I don't like the outcome.
Carolina is just like skipping and dancing around the sequential, just like gushing about this sword and how cool it is and how grateful she is and do.
Yeah.
So awesome. Thank you
That's
so
so
much.
good. It works.
One note is that it is much too early in the day for another long rest.
Right.
Per your body clock, you have no idea how time passes here, but the way your body clock feels, it's like 10 in the morning.
Sure.
Okay, but we could get a
Okay.
short rest
You
in.
could get a short rest, no problem.
Won't help spell slots, but it'll help hit points. I guess technically, yeah. Efficiency wise, I guess that would have short rest would have been better than cure wound spells slots.
I mean, if you want, you can take a short rest. If you kind of want to say, we would have done that instead of the
Yeah.
cure wound spells. Like I will not always allow that, but I will in this case if you want.
Yeah, I'd be
I-
down happily
I
to do
can
that.
also do the Song of Rest, so anyone that expends hit die would get an extra 1d6.
Yes, that'd be
Okay,
awesome.
oh, that sounds good.
So
All right,
I need some
so-
time to write down my
10.
notes anyway.
that I needed to put back.
All right, so I'm taking my 2 cure wound spells back, trying to.
Okay.
And I'm taking those 10.
We can just
points
kind of
of
sit at
damage
this
back.
conference table and confab.
Yep.
Are you taking back the second level one that you did for yourself as well?
Sorry.
No, I'm going to leave that because.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
just
yeah,
roll hit dice.
I will take it back.
Yeah. 20 points.
So your spiritual weapon would wear off.
Yep.
But yeah,
All
so
right.
if everyone's
Go
kind
ahead.
of hanging out in this room while you take a breather,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that the strength drain effect does wear off after a short rest. So
Oh, good.
you can
Okay.
undo
Oh.
that, whatever that effect is.
That's a relief.
Where did
All
my
right,
20
so I get 9 back for 1 hit die. Do you only get 1 per short rest?
You can use as many as you want,
Yeah,
up
Okay.
to your max.
but
Mind.
remember you're already getting an extra d6 from.
Right.
What's your song of
From-
rest? What are you?
Oh.
My Song of Rest is because Zinhorn looks a little bit down, so she would probably recount for him the time when she first came to Bashan. And her first week was a little rough. she didn't know anybody, and she spent a lot of time just kind of wandering around places, and there wasn't anything that drew her. And so it was about the sixth day, and she was feeling very lost, and she happened to wander near the temple district. And as she was going by, she heard people singing inside, and so she wandered that way to listen to what the song that they were performing. She's not sure if it was like a worship service, or I don't know, some kind of gathering, or just people being happy. But this is what they were singing. Let the wind howl over the mountain. Let the veil of winter descend. I've a fire within ever burning, and a love that will know no end. In the arms of Rushama shall rest my heart. In its memory shall I live on. For the mountain remains as all else fades away. A shelter, a beacon, a home.
Yay!
Yay! That one is new, you guys.
What a
Lovely.
refreshing song.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
So do we roll a 1d6 for every hit dice we roll, or do we just get it one time?
One
It's one extra 1d6.
Thank you.
Your song is getting applause from the chat.
And Hypnotoad winds down. Whoops. Only lasts an hour.
All right, so you all kind of hang out for a little while, catch your breath. The strange sense of weakness that you had felt after the shadows attacked seems to wear off under the fellowship, and lovely music, and you feel better.
So I've got a theory. I would highly
strength
recommend that
drain
no one die here, because I have a feeling that all of the people we've been encountering, or rather all of the things we were encountering, are sort of shades and shadows of the people who were here and died. This note is from two different people who were in this room, presumably when the thing was right outside, like the note says. So probably they died here and kind of got left behind, or reanimated by the house spirit, or recreated by it. It's a little bit confusing still. That also might still be that spirit they were talking about before, Sombra. That might help us if we could actually speak to the thing. If it still maintains any level of intelligence and is not some sort of recreation itself, or somewhat desperate and unintelligent because it hasn't been spoken to in 70-something years. That sort of thing.
Sure.
But it's only a theory.
That's reasonable.
It does mean if there were ever going to be more people here, we'd probably have to make peace with it. Or possibly destroy it. Although I'd prefer to contain it if possible. Not really sure how to do that yet. If we had something like a larger version of the jar that Shorashana has, that might work. You could, in effect, perhaps be able to funnel the spirit into that, and even maybe capture it.
I was going to say we could try to encase it in bread, but that's not very mobile.
I don't know if the bread is entirely effective, though.
Well,
I mean,
how
it would be.
I have a question. How do we know Sombra was a spirit?
That's a speculation, too, part of the theory. Based on the way that it appeared and the way that the person who spoke to it, who might be Onyx Grinder or maybe Tanglefoot, it seemed to be that they were indicating that they conjured or created it. So spirit is one possibility, given the nature of spirits, but also construct, potentially. But constructs, I don't believe, have quite such an emotional range.
Well,
Oh, I don't know.
I got
Present
the-
company
like,
accepted.
For me, it felt more like this was a person who was acting in a way that they had not, they had been adverse to how they had been trained. Like they were, it sounded like to me that they were a teacher and that their charges, were being attacked and their teacher was doing nothing to help them. And I don't think if this was a person, and like you said, like if you die here, then like the shadow version of you kind of gets trapped here. There was no shadow for Sombra.
Well, it was all shadow, really. But maybe we haven't run across a sort of professor or headmaster Sombra, though.
Well, but that note mentioned a professor that we hadn't heard of before either.
Right. Very, I think.
Velrai.
Velrai? Okay.
Yeah, so
It was
VEL.
went by very quickly before I could write it down.
RAI. Yeah, I don't have the handout for that one, but that's the spelling.
It would be great if we
I'm
could find a
keeping
roster.
track of names, but very little else.
Sure. So Velrai, and anyone with proficiency can make a history check.
No.
22.
Well,
22. You're pretty sure Velrai is a dark elf family name.
Good to keep in mind.
then she
Well,
kind of cranes her neck around Zinhorn there to kind of look at the room across the halls. Guys, that note mentioned the professor might have been across the hall, so do we want to open that door?
So there's
If
no
these
door.
were just students.
Yeah. There's no door immediately facing you. It's around the corner, but
Well, figured there would
Yeah.
be a door, but
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
if
I'm
these
probably
were
gonna
just
have to-
students and they're already like,
leave no door unopened.
well, we have left the
We're
two
trying to do
unopened.
that.
Did
Oh.
these ones resemble the ones that had gathered and created shadow together? Is that the right species?
They were
Or were
next
they-
to each other.
Or
and
were
there
this, or
wasn't
was this a
any-
different thing?
these were different than the ones that you had fought previously. I mean, they seem related, but had different properties. I mean, all the things you fought seem like they're sort of conjured out of darkness and or detritus from the house, but they were distinct from the
And these
other
ones will need a different designation.
Yeah, I had moved to block them thinking that, but those ones in the hallway were right next to each other and they didn't cause the darkness to happen.
Right.
Well, if these are the students, then maybe the other kind are actually the professors, which would give us an idea of what to expect. When they get together, I guess they cause shadow. There's probably some sort of metaphorical nature to that. I'm sure a master would have something nasty to say about it. When
Well-
professors get together, all they do is create a void of darkness.
What about those two rooms that were down on the third floor that we didn't go in? Because like we can see them now, but we can't get there from here.
Well, interesting.
There's a little bit of hesitation as though she maybe doesn't want to face off with one of these professors quite yet.
We'll
I
have
mean,
to make
you
sure
wanted to
that
head
we
straight
note
to the
them on way
big
out.
tower, right?
Well, let's just keep going the way that we're going for right now. And we'll have to circle back and get those rooms. But I want y'all to remember that if we run into these things again, radiant damage worked really, really well.
And magical weapons.
And
Neither
magical
of which I
weapons.
actually have access to.
Yeah, not really.
But yeah, radiant damage was literally their like double.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, I'm all
Yeah.
about the elements.
So if you follow up around to the next doorway, the one on the right here,
walk
see
in.
a slightly nicer bedroom, still trashed, of course, that has another kind of strange, like, sunroom or other open area that has a lot of big windows in it, kind of in that other area. One of the things, though, that you notice as you're checking this room, let's see. First thing I think you notice is what looks like a crumpled letter that's lying on the floor near the desk. And this is one that I have as a handout, so let's make sure I'm giving you the right one. Yeah. Okay. So, come on. Oh, man. Okay. There we go. So that should be with you all now, but what it says is, Headmaster Proxim, I hope that you will take this letter in the respectful manner that it is intended, but I believe some intervention is needed with Master Arcanist Onyxbane. Any practitioner in magic knows that obsession is an ever-present hazard, and I believe I see the signs in her recent behavior. The way she treated our guests the other day was unbecoming of the Reclaimers, even if we intended to deny their request. I was honestly shocked that you did not intervene. Furthermore, I believe that you are, perhaps unconsciously, encouraging a culture of recklessness with powerful forces that we are yet to understand. Even Sombra has grown increasingly antisocial, and the house carries a tension in the air, like we've all been infected by nightmares. I propose only that we delay tonight's event for 1 week to allow us time to consult some of our extraplanar colleagues. And then the handwriting gets a little bit, sloppier here, but it says, but of course, I know that you will ignore this letter just like you ignore all my advice, so I honestly don't know why I bother. Either the ritual will proceed and you will say I was weak, or Badalin will blow us all up tonight and my letter will get burned up along with everything else.
I think there was a line you read that wasn't in our handout.
Yeah.
The one about Sombra.
Sombra.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Sorry, that was a later ad. So I can,
Which,
yeah,
so does that imply that's like the spirit of the building?
let me
It
add
sounded
that to
like.
the, shoot.
I don't know, I'm still not
Sometimes
sold on
Roll20
that.
won't
Yeah. That's what that phrasing made it sound like to me, but
I can't edit it right now for some reason. It's like sometimes it won't let me reopen it. I don't know why, but
It's a bug.
but yeah. So the that I will reread the sentence was, even Sombra has grown increasingly antisocial, and the house carries a tension in the air, like we've all been infected by nightmares.
gotcha.
Okay.
As you're kind of looking around the room, though, and as you check out like this additional northern part of it where there's not really a lot of other furniture, it looks like it might have been like a meditation room or something like that. You realize that there is a strange sort of there's an illusion that is okay. What you see is on a piece of the wall, there is an area where the wall does not look as worn and dirty as everything else around it. It looks like in this one little sort of 8 by 8 inch square patch of wall, it looks like what the wall probably looks like brand new, but the rest of it around that does not look like that, suggesting you think that it's probably an illusion.
Sequential, Nedry, this is this
That
is your
definitely
bailiwick.
needs more investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be investigation,
Well, yeah. So if you
or
want to make,
do we just have to touch it?
you can make an intelligence check to sort of like see through it. But if you're pretty sure it's an illusion, you could
Yeah.
also just like verify by putting your hand through it. Once you've
Yeah,
recognized
I'll-
something as an illusion, like you're certain about it like that, you sort of see through it like translucently.
Yeah, I'll reach through.
Okay, so once you kind of manage to like confirm for yourself that it is in fact an illusion hiding a little cubby in the wall, what you see in there looks like some kind of a small shrine to a spirit. If you have proficiency in religion, you can make a religion check.
I do.
I do not, but you have said in the
21.
past that since I'm a cleric, I get
Well,
to make those rolls.
As Sequential is standing there looking through it at very first, he recognizes with a 21 that this is a shrine to the Mistress of the Dark, which is the powerful spirit that is rules over the Shadowfell.
And at this mention, Carolina like flaps and like, "Oh, I know this story." Do you guys remember? Do you remember? Do you remember?
All I remember is some rhyme that said she came from the dark hills, the twin dark hills of Tashmia. I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, that I don't know about. But she's the one. Nedra, you actually have something in common with her.
I don't have any shrines. At least I don't think I do.
Well, no, but, well, according to the legend, it was because of the shell game that the heroes of legend were able to escape death by her hand.
Oh. Not the sort of thing you would find here, though. Or at least you shouldn't.
Well, you shouldn't, but...
So one of the things that you also see Sequential is that sitting on the shrine, it looks like sort of it's been placed on the shrine, but is not like innately a part of it, if you follow me. Like it's like something on an offering plate rather than, you know, an inherent part of the shrine, is what looks like a crystalline key made of smoky gray crystal. It's about 6 inches long, and it's got a leather strap through the handle of it to make it look like it maybe would be worn like an amulet or something.
Yoink that.
When you touch it, you take 7 necrotic damage.
Oh,
And it
ow.
leaps out of your hand, flies across the room, and it doesn't hit the floor. Instead, it flies to a very specific spot in the room. And as it hovers there, phasing into visibility is some kind of a spectral humanoid figure. It looks like perhaps an elf, but because it's, you know, so translucent, you can't really tell much more about that. But what you see is this figure holding the key and kneeling in what looks like prayer. And then as you're watching, the sort of spectral view of the rest of the room fills out like you've sometimes seen with these memories. And as the creature bursts in from the hallway, the kneeling figure, you know, kind of gets more tense, like deepens in prayer, like reacting to the sound but not turning to look, but instead like praying more intensely. And what happens is this shadow creature swarms in and attempts to do its attack, but it passes right through this elf, to the elf's apparent surprise. And then the elf just sort of fades out of view, looking at herself in surprise until she's gone. And then you see this writhing shadow creature seem to look around the room as though in confusion and then leave.
Well, that was disturbing.
Wow.
Yeah, but it looked
Okay.
like she survived.
Yeah, but at what cost? I mean, if this is a shrine to the Mistress of the Dark, that's... Oh, that's not a debt that I would want to owe.
She might have just merely changed planes, which would get her out of the way.
Yeah.
Or maybe even move to this demi-plane, given that they seem to be sort of in the same space. I'm not sure who that was, though. We haven't got much clues about the headmaster, so I don't know if that was an elf woman or not. Onyx Bane was described as a woman, but I don't know what race they were. But either one of those two seems like the most likely.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Certainly.
a lot of names that we don't really have any identification for. There's Badalin, Sombra. We
Tanglefoot.
have no idea what they look like. Velerai,
Mr.
the person
Thorson.
that was supposed to be across the hall.
Yeah.
There are,
I think-
Professor Treco. Yeah, a
A
bunch
lot
of
of
apprentice
students.
names too.
Yeah, Esther, Kestel, Galatar, friend of Galatar, Jareth, Edward, Denai. There's a lot of them. Which means it was a probably pretty thriving school, which was good. Oh, and Pickford, too. Some of these might be the same people.
It just means there was a lot of death.
Yep.
Oh.
All right. Shall we
pretty
move
sure
on?
Yeah.
Died here. I don't know.
What would be the stance of something like the Mistress of the Dark with respect to the city, I guess, or with respect to Tashmia? Is there sort of any known quality about her that
Yeah, so the Mistress of the Dark is not a commonly worshipped entity. Those who study religion know that she is associated with the Shadowfell. Anyone who has studied the story of the Heroes of Legend knows that were various encounters there where a very powerful artifact had briefly transported her to the prime material plane where she encountered the Heroes of Legend, and then there was a repeat encounter in the Astral Sea where she was eventually returned to the Shadowfell, and that she was very powerful but angry at being somewhat humiliated by some of those events, and yet with a respect for the Heroes of Legend. And so, generally speaking, the thoughts of the Mistress of the Dark for most people is that creepy but not necessarily evil, certainly associated with death, which makes people kind of not want to dig any deeper. But it's not bad so much as unpleasant.
So it's not like this was considered to be, devil worshipping in this
No.
town. It's just another.
No,
Godlike spirit.
it would be a little bit like if someone was a goth. You know what I mean? Like it's but I would say that there are probably some who would think of worshiping the Mistress of the Dark as, that's a weird thing to do. Why would you do that unless you're weird, right? But it's not so much that the Mistress of the Dark is seen as evil as much as, like, why would you, like, even if you accept that death is a natural part of life, you don't worship it, right? Like, even if you understand that light and darkness are a duality, what do you say about the person who's all about worshiping the darkness? That seems weird, right? And so I think there's some discomfort associated with it, but not necessarily from the perspective of evil like the devils or demons would be.
There is an interesting question that's raised here. Whether it was actually Beta Ellen's ritual which caused all of this. And maybe it wasn't an attack as we thought it was. Or a combination of bad timing and an attack, I suppose.
Yeah.
Vulnerability opened up. Oh. I want to know more.
Well, do you continue exploring some of these more rooms?
Next
Yep.
room.
Did we get the smoky quartz key, or did that?
Oh,
vanish?
yes.
I'm not touching it again.
As soon as that sort of scene played out, so when the spectral elf figure phased out, it seemed to remain hovering where she was, and then when the whole scene sort of faded, it just dropped down to the floor and just clunk, clunk, clunk. So it was just
It
laying
maybe-
on the floor unless one of you pick it up.
It may be
touch
kind of
it.
like an MIR.
Can I turn a pouch inside out and grab it with the pouch and then pull it in so I'm not touching it?
Why doesn't Trina do that, since you're the person that would be able to help someone if they get harmed that way?
Okay, that seems reasonable.
Trina's happy to do that.
Sure. So do you do that same trick? You kind of try to just avoid touching it. You pick it up like dog poop with the bat.
Totally. Yeah, that's definitely the way to go.
And do you eat it?
After seeing what Sequential went through.
You eat it into your endless stomach? No.
Totes.
Probably.
Oh yeah, I
Do
just
you?
chuck that right in there.
Well, no, seriously. Are you then? Yes or no?
I mean, as established before, I shouldn't have any harmful effects while it's in that temporary pocket portal. So, hell yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Kind of imagine Nedry going, I think we're going to have to check. Oh,
Yeah, there's actually, I think, some nice poetic imagery of the idea of swallowing the key. You know, it's like, it's the thing you do to have it be safe, right?
Can always cough it up again, but it won't hurt
Yeah,
anybody
when you
while it's in
only
there.
touch it through the pouch, you don't notice any other effect.
So I've got the string from the pouch hanging out of my mouth, and I look at Nedry and I'm like, "Oh, do you want it? I can."
do you feel any ill effects or the urge to murder anything? I mean, not the normal urge to normal. Do you feel different?
Do I feel different?
Nope.
No.
If you start to feel different, maybe let one of us know pretty quickly.
Will do. And she slurps the thread, the string in.
Sucks it in like spaghetti.
Yep. All
Nedry makes a
fertilized.
note in his book.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just reveal these next 4 rooms because like nothing happens in them, but what you find in those rooms from right to left in those 4 rooms. In this rightmost one, you find a scrap of paper with what looks like a pros and cons list. At the top it says, should I kill upperclassman Galanadel? Pros, no more chanting, less competition for promotion. Cons, hard not to get caught, used to be friends, risk of injury. In the next room over, you see that all around the bedposts is a repeated litany carved like in a spiraling trail, like going all around the bedposts, just like if you had a strip of paper that you wrapped around the bedpost, but it's carved in. And what it just says is, I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy.
Oh, this place just gets more and more disturbing.
The next one over has a wooden bench that is splintered and broken in the middle. And if you look at the area where it was broken, you see what look like multiple sets of bloody knuckle prints. And just looking at the break of the bench, it would have taken more than one hit to break it.
Okay.
And then the last one there is you don't really find much in there except that there is a path on the floor, just from one wall to the other, where the tile of the floor is much, much, much more worn than the rest of the floor around it, like someone just used to pace back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
I feel like the people in this house were going a little nuts.
Yeah.
A little?
We've got mounting evidence of that.
I feel
And-
like they might have been driven that way. Maybe
Yeah.
for magical power, or as the sacrifice that was mentioned earlier, or the experiment, or the ritual.
Yeah, I think you're right.
At
We see
minimum, a
anything out of
side
the
effect
windows?
and possibly on purpose.
So out of the,
Although-
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, answering the windows question, out of the windows you see, like out onto the north grounds, there's not anything especially notable in that way. There is a door doorway right here that goes, into another room, and then a doorway here that looks like it opens onto another balcony.
I'm gonna check
the
out the
room.
balcony while we're off it,
Yeah.
while we're next to it.
Okay. Yeah. So there is a, doorway on the far side of the balcony there, and then a doorway to the south. And similar to the other balcony on the other end of the building, oops, Nedry, you moved yourself. Oh, you went through that doorway? All right.
Went south.
All right, yeah. So you reveal another hallway down there. The hallway has, more windows that look out over the dome. There's a door to the south here. There's a set of stairs that go down. And then, obviously the hallway continues on a bit more into the west as well.
Well, let's check out this room.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that room, you have what looks like a similar layout to the one that you just most recently found the shrine in, only without that sort of extra room to it. As you search it, you do find what looks near the fireplace like pieces of a torn up letter. It's been torn up into little bits.
Jigsaw puzzle.
You want to try to put it together?
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
definitely.
let's try and put it together.
Sure. Go ahead and whoever's doing it, make an investigation check. Someone can do it with advantage if you got more people helping.
I'll help.
I'm keen to try.
So let's see the roll.
26.
That'll do it. So this is another letter. So this letter says, Badalin, I'm putting this in writing because lately I have not been able to get a word in with you. I half expect you to charge in here without even reading past this point. Please prove me wrong, read this, and consider my opinion like you used to. We were brought into the Reclaimers together, and although I am proud of my own work here as both a ranger and now an instructor, I don't begrudge you your position as my superior because you deserve it and worked hard for it. So please do not think that this comes from jealousy. You and I did not survive our missions because we rushed into things. I am just as excited as you by the possibilities that circlet can offer, but you can't truly believe Tanglefoot's explanation of how he got it! Exclamation point. I saw you look at me when he told his story. I know you don't believe him any more than I do. So before you forge ahead, I hope you'll at least ask yourself one thing. With all the things we already know he's done, what would it take to make him lie to us now? Your friend, or so I once thought, Professor Zalian Bilray.
Okay, the last bit's missing.
Yeah,
Well,
okay,
it's
so
different.
it's again, I'm making edits and sorry, so I apologize if it's not the same.
Well,
Okay.
in the letter, it actually says Trico.
Yes, I know, don't worry about it. It is what I said it is.
Sorry,
Okay.
what was that? Valrai?
Yes, yeah. So I'm sorry when they're, so any future instances where I say it differently than what's in there, I apologize for that. I will try to fix it later, but it is what I say, not what is in there.
Cool, cool.
Right. But yes, that this letter was
Curiouser
torn,
and curiouser.
torn up by the fireplace, but not burned.
So clearly, whatever the circlet is maybe at the heart of whatever caused all this mess. Or at least started
Mhm.
part of it, maybe?
There is also a door here onto a smaller balcony, right by where Zinhorn is standing.
Okay.
The good part about this is we're more or less more certain anyway that Velrai might have been a voice of reason going on here.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly seems that way.
So not someone to fear after all.
So the balcony there leads out onto this larger balcony that goes around another room there. Here, let me as you guys are moving around, let me just
Mm-hmm.
reveal a bit more of the hallway that Nedry would be seeing. So Zinhorn goes into that room.
So trying to suddenly
ding,
start
ding,
saying,
ding,
we're
ding,
separated,
ding, ding.
we're separated. I
Yeah.
don't like when we're separated. Where's
yes.
Nedry? Nedry, where are you? Can
And
you
so,
hear me?
yeah, as we're gonna go ahead and roll initiative again, because there are two more of these shadow creatures in. So, please re-roll and. Let me know when you've all got your new number on there.
Why do I
Sequential
always
chevron locked.
roll so horribly for initiative?
It's the only role I'm doing well. Well, it was.
All right. Everyone got it in there?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So, Carolina, you're actually up first, but I think all you might have seen is Zinhorn poke into a doorway and then go, ah!
What? What is it? What's going on? Something I can poke with my new sword? And
I think we're all going to
that's
stand
on,
behind
so-
her from now on. It's much safer.
Right? Go get him, killer.
Get him, Ray.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know that there's much more you can do unless you're literally going to push past Zinhorn into the room.
And Trina.
Well, and that's a little
I mean,
tricky.
for allies, so
she-
you can.
So
she
she's
could-
brave, but she's not that
Yeah.
brave.
Well, especially you're on a narrow balcony too. Like there's a railing,
Yeah.
but it's also like you're 3 floors up.
We're establishing our operating plan. Get him, Rena.
All right. So, are you doing anything or no?
No, I will. I will hold if I see something. I'll hold Mind Sliver,
Okay.
and light that off if I see something that looks like it needs,
Sure.
attacking.
Slithering.
Okay. Yeah. So, Trina, it's your turn, but I think similarly, all you really kind of see is Zinhorn kind of react with surprise at something in that room.
I'm running forward.
Are you gonna like shove past him?
Yes.
All right.
Well, I
Look!
mean, he's friendly. Can't I get past him? I thought I
You
could make past
can. I'm
allies.
just saying that you're coming from behind. So
Yeah.
do you say something? You just kind of push past. But like, I'm saying, he can allow you through, but we have to, in fiction, explain the fact that he's standing in the doorway and you are a gigantic elephant person trying to get past him. I think he would notice. Is all I'm saying.
I'm going to say, let me eat its face, and I'm going to run past him.
All right.
Make a hole.
Yeah. So you see 2 of them in here.
I would like to advance towards this one since it's closest to Zinhorn and swing my sim at it.
Simmy Sim. 21 will hit.
Oh, I like that. Thank you so much, sequential. So that's 7 points of damage.
All right.
Magical.
7 magical damage. Yep.
And then I'll swing with the short sword.
A 13
With,
does hit.
oh, good.
Mhm.
13 hits.
for another 4 damage because it takes half of the
Sure.
non-magical damage. So that one's, wounded but not destroyed. All right. Sequential, you're even further back than Carolina, so like,
Yep.
you're probably like, what's going on over there?
What? Huh?
All right.
Um,
So, anything?
I'll go ahead. Yeah, I'll
You
go
saw
ahead
Trina
and
rush through.
expend a spell slot to power up the my force frog again.
Okay.
Whoom. But that's it.
All right. So it is the Shadow's turn. You're getting both of these, Trina. One gets a 16 to hit.
Yep.
It's going to do 8 necrotic damage. And you're going to get a strength drain again of 1 for that one. And then the next one is a 20 to hit for another 8 necrotic damage.
What was the first damage? I'm sorry.
They're both 8.
Okay.
But that one gives you a strength drain of 3. So it's a total of 16 damage and a total strength drain of 4, which will be reduce your modifier by 2.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That's the Shadows. Nedry, you're up. You're hearing from the other side of that door, like.
I
hearing
howled
Trina.
too.
I'll open the door if I can.
I
if
did
it's locked.
howl
Yeah, you
when
can.
that hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more of them.
Mhm.
Oh. I'll be right there.
He runs over to Trina
This should do some good.
and kind of carefully trying to avoid the massive swinging weapons that she has and the flying trunk. Just gently reaches out and taps her. Safety first. And I will cast Protection from Evil and Good on her.
Oh.
I will also reach down and touch the new book I have, focus for a moment, and she gains 10 temporary hit points. There's a little flash goes off around my hand, and you see a little silver shroud appear and then vanish. You feel better?
So remind me
Thank you, friend.
what Protection from Evil and Good does. It's disadvantage on attacks if they're undead. I mean,
Aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. And they can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them.
okay, great, yeah. How long does that last?
10 minutes.
Okay, great.
But it is concentration.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna add a
Sweet.
matching dot for you to reflect your concentration on them. Okay, that is Nedry's turn. Zinhorn, your turn.
I am going to cast Sacred Flame at the one south of me because then I'm not at risk of hitting my friends.
It got a 15 on its saving throw.
That would be, so it made its saving throw, so it's half damage.
Sacred Flame, I believe, is no damage if it succeeds. Because it's a cantrip. I mean, double check if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it.
Yep, you are correct.
Okay. Yeah, these things are pretty fast moving. You know that the radiant damage would be great if you hit them, but they moved pretty fast. All right. Anything else?
I don't think I can do anything else.
Okay.
No, I'm nope.
All right. Carolina, you're up again. You definitely see that something's happening in there, but nothing has emerged from through that doorway.
Well, change that. I'm going to ease in here past Zinhorn.
Then it's like,
And-
oh, there's one.
And I am going to stab at it. Have at thee. Oh, nice.
24 will hit. Yeah.
That's
Good
a
Lord.
24.
How much magical damage? 9.
9.
Okay. You stab it 9 damage worth, and it says nothing because it's a shadow. But you imagine that if it weren't a shadow and it had a mouth and vocal cords, it would say, ow!
And this time I'm gonna kind of like put my arm out, so like sword in one hand and arm out, so I'm kind of like
yeah,
blocking Zinhorn, kind of like
or,
that.
Or more like the mom arm.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
I thought you were doing the, like, how about the sort of
no, no, no,
gesture,
no,
but
like as in like,
Yeah,
I
like-
got this.
Stay away from my cleric. Get away from him, you shade. All right, that's Carolina's turn. Trina, you're up again.
Wow, I'm gonna swing again.
Mm-hmm.
So. Where's my screen? There it is. So 17 to hit.
Okay, 17 hits, yeah.
And.
Yeah, you destroy that one.
Oh, destroyed.
Or dissipate, or whatever. You know, you cut it in half, and the rest of the pieces just don't seem like they can exist without the full structure, and just...
So then I'm gonna come over to this other fella and swing my short sword.
All right, a 15 hits.
15 and it's 5 points of damage, so 2 points of damage.
It's still up. It's definitely damaged, but not destroyed.
And I'm like, come at me, bro. Come at me.
All right, Sequential, you're up.
All right.
It's getting a little crowded right there.
Excuse me, pardon me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me.
It's like difficult terrain getting up there because there's the dresser knocked over on the map there. But
Gotcha.
yeah, you can
Might
get
have
there.
to stop there.
But you're also kind of standing on top of this tilted over dresser. So
All right. Force blast. Boom. Aw. Oh, yay. That's a crit.
That's a crit.
I thought the B was a 1, not a crit. Yay. Even better.
Yeah.
And that force damage. I already forgot how much it is.
Isn't it like 2d6 or something like that?
I think it's 2D. Oops. Bonk. 2d6, yeah.
Okay. So 46.
Oh, yeah. 8 and 8.
All right. So yeah, not only do you destroy this thing, but it shatters out all the windows in the around the room behind it. As this thing on your shoulder just lets out this massive, forceful croak right over your head, Trina.
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
This is why she takes a knee.
I think it's all the more impressive that he was able to do that without hurting you at all, Trina, but doing that much damage, to the shadow and what
Absolutely.
lay beyond. And
She's cheering him on. Them on, sorry.
yeah. Well, and then as you destroy the last of the shadows that's in here, you see once again one of those little motes of light.
Ooh, I'm gonna boop it this time. I'm gonna do it. Bing.
All right.
Mode, mode.
So you see the spectral images of 2 adults waiting just inside the door to the hallway, like flanking it, like with one has a wand ready, the other has a sword, and they're looking concerned. And one of them is they're whispering to each other. One says, "It's in the east wing, heading this way. If Headmaster Proxim hadn't cut the roster, we'd have." And the other interrupts. "We'd have panicking children dragging down everyone else. Proxim cut the dead weight, and you know it. We need soldiers for what lies ahead." And the other one says, "The Reclaimers used to mean something. Now Proxim has brought ruin down upon us, and if that thing out there doesn't kill us, Onyx Bane's ritual will." And the other one says, "It's your lack of faith that will bring ruin." And he says that one much louder. And then they both kind of stare each other down for a moment, looking like, you just said that too loud. And then the shadow creature rushes in through the door and kills both of them.
One of them had a wand.
Do they look familiar at all from the other specter or images we've seen?
No,
No. Are either of them elves?
no.
Or is there enough detail to even notice that?
You don't think so. These both looked human to you. But again, you don't get a lot of detail just because you kind of have these translucent figures.
I've got to figure out a way to capture these. And maybe make these as well. These can be very effective.
Nedry's clearly distracted about that idea. Against the world.
Well, considering I feel like people had to die to make them, I don't know that I would be too keen to replicate it.
There's probably another way.
Yeah, I mean,
Death is a powerful release of magical energy as well as spiritual energy. There are other ways to obtain that kind of energy, I think.
So trying to,
You know
the
more
trigger
about that than I do,
mechanism's
so.
interesting, though.
Yeah.
you've got a temporary boost of temporary hit points from Nedry, but you did once again suffer that sort of strength drain that I imagine just feels like just this layer of fatigue. Everything's just a little heavier, a little harder. Ugh.
Why don't we wait here for a short rest and let that clear?
We just waited.
Yeah, Trina is hurt.
So the protection from good and evil didn't help
Let's
against
see.
that at
Do
all.
I have any kind
Well,
of...
the attack happened before he cast the
restoration,
spell, and then you destroyed the two shadows, so it didn't. They didn't actually even get to attack again. Yeah. So the spell did not get rid of the effect.
Mm-hmm.
But
it
for
just
that
takes
matter,
time to
if you
pass.
have 10 minutes of it, if you wait, then it'll wear off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to take a little short. I'm just going to sit down for a minute. I'm not feeling great, but I think it'll pass.
Does it
So-
feel like it's coming from within you, like your stomach or throat?
It's coming from my soul. No, I can't tell. I just feel kind of weak. I just feel like I need to catch my breath for a minute. Those things have a nasty little effect on them.
And they do.
So just make
Sorry
sure
I
you
wasn't
guys
fast
stay
enough to
back.
help you.
No, that was such a big help. I worry about, folks with maybe a little less strength than I have getting hit with it. So I just, hope everybody can stay back out of their close proximity. So she's just going to sit down for a minute and just, ooh, fan herself. Take a
Maybe
little
I'll
sip
be able to
from her.
protect others if I can extend the radius of my magical powers.
Oh,
He just kind of
that
starts wandering
reminds
off
me.
into thoughts.
I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Once we're ready to go again, before we leave, maybe I could activate this rally beacon thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because every time I remember it, there's other bad guys around, and I think that would be a bad idea.
Right. It does take a little pre-planning.
hmm So, but it should last for an hour. I think it was what we figured out, and it'll make everybody a little bit tougher.
I like tougher.
You definitely help.
So are you taking a full short rest again?
Trina's not. She's just going to chill out. I mean, I don't
Okay.
think anybody else wants to take
Well,
a full long rest.
So my
gonna
point
wait
is
after.
just that you have 10 minutes of Nedry's spell. So like that's going to run out if
Yeah.
you wait.
Oh,
Yeah, if
that's
we're not
gonna
doing
run
a
out
long
before
rest,
the
we should
strength
move.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
can
don't think
cast
we
it
can do a
again.
long rest. I mean, short rest. I mean, is there any other mechanic to do other than clicking the button? Because I used all my hit dice before.
Yeah,
On the
so
first
if
one.
you,
yeah.
I don't think, if you used all your hit dice, I don't think you can recover any more from a short rest. However,
Right.
it will make the strength drain wear off.
Yeah, okay. So then I guess if nobody minds that we do a short rest, that would be cool.
Does that make her temporary hit points wear off as well, Nedry? Or
I don't think anything really does. Like a long rest would, like it gets rid of normal temporary hit
Right.
points, but there's no time limit or length on it.
okay.
Nice.
So does that make your arcane cannon dissipate?
Yeah, that'll yeah, that'll wind down
Power
again.
down. All right. So yeah, you can just hang out and sort of, wait again, taking your time, being cautious. Makes sense. Anyone who still has hit dice and wants to use them can, but I think only Trina actually took
Yeah.
damage since your last one. So, all right.
10.
Oh, did you take damage? You're going to do.
Yeah.
what you're doing? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do
Oh,
one hit
did we
die.
Find.
Well, so if you are you playing your Song of Rest again, Carolina?
I can. If people are using hit
I
die.
don't need it.
Yeah, I don't have to. It doesn't cost me anything to do it. So
Well,
If we are taking time, then do you mind if I take a closer look at that key? I might be able to determine if something more about it.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's the ladylike way to cough it up.
yeah, no, I think you just
reach
sort
in
of
with your trunk.
yeah, you just sort of concentrate on it, and it just kind of
They're walking around the room like a cat.
yeah. I feel like you do make a noise. It doesn't have to be like a hairball noise, but it can just like wah.
Maybe it's like a little trumpet that escapes from my nose with all the pressure coming forward.
Snurk
Like
it.
on that old Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
Sorry.
or you sneeze it out like and then it's in your head.
Since they seem to be willing to take some time, I'm going to first ritually cast Identify
Okay.
and then ritually cast Detect Magic.
All right. Well, so tell me how you're doing that, because so you have the key in the pouch to start.
Sure. Actually, the first thing he will do is ritually cast Unseen Servant to find Freya, and have Freya pick it up and put it on a bench,
Okay.
or try to.
Yeah. It works.
Okay. Once it's on the bench, he'll start circling it with the runic magic sigils to try to cast Identify essentially around it, so it is the center of the spell.
Confirm. I believe the wording of the spell says you do have to touch it.
Actually, sorry, you're right. So I have to touch for Identify.
You know.
Let's see. I do not have to touch for Detect Magic, though, which was the first step I wanted to do.
Okay. Well, so yeah, if you do detect magic, I don't know what school it would be. I guess actually it probably would be Abjuration, but it's got a distinctly sort of divine magic flavor to it. When you're looking at it through Detect Magic.
Okay.
When you try to touch it, it zaps you and you take 2 necrotic damage.
Does it go flying?
No, it just, I think it jumps a little, like a couple of inches on the bench, but you're kind of almost not sure that wasn't just from your hand jostling it when it zapped you.
This is going to be a little more difficult. I don't
If we
think
got
I
a sling,
can hold
that'd
it.
be some pretty effective ammunition.
Well, I don't think it's going to hurt too much that's in here. But it means I'll have to study the old-fashioned way, which means it takes a lot more time.
You can
So-
make an Arcana check if you like.
Yeah, that's what I figured he'll sit down and kind of start to map out different ideas and resulting in an Arcana check.
Yeah.
But that is only a 12.
Okay.
Well, Trina would have assisted with that, though, because she's deadly curious about what's been in her face.
You can roll your
Assist then?
Yeah.
That's not much better. That's a 15.
Okay. You are pretty sure that just given the context of where you found it on this shrine to the Mistress of the Dark, it's the kind of divine flavor of the magic around it and the leather strap around it, you gather that it's some kind of a talisman that is probably associated with the Mistress of the Dark. You know that often talismans of like are protective, but would likely be protective of the person who is supposed to wear it. Like, not just any random person who touches it.
So, in being devoted to the Mistress of the Dark, it gives it some power. It may not work as ammunition because of that, if it doesn't have to defend itself against whatever it's being hit by. But here's the
perhaps-
curious question. It was found in the shrine, but the image that we saw showed someone using it. So either they survived and put it back in the shrine, or it returns on its own, which is possible, I suppose, but it seemed to be disappearing with it. But that does suggest that maybe the headmaster, who I suspected was using it, might still be around. Maybe not here, but somewhere.
He says, I wonder if someone were to wear it, if they were attacked, if it would damage the attacker.
Here's the problem. I think you'd have to be dedicated to the Mistress of the Dark for it to accept you. Which I don't think I would recommend. I don't think that look
Yeah,
would
I
look
don't
great
really
on
know
you.
of any way to attune to an object without holding it.
No, it kind of worms its way into
Interesting.
your soul. At least that's one of the theories I've heard. And that would be kind of bad in this case.
Well, if it belonged to somebody and they were holding it and then got sucked away, but it got left behind, maybe to come back from wherever they are, they would need it again. And I mean, that's kind of like what we're doing, right? We rescue people from pockets. Maybe they got stuck in a pocket, and maybe if we give them the key, they can come home, but we don't know where they are. So we can't give them the key yet.
It might have returned home, but someone was holding it in the image we saw. That might not have been the last use of it, but I think it probably was.
I guess we should definitely hold on to it.
Yeah, let's hold on to it for now.
Yeah, Trina, if you want to put this back, we probably have to come up with a better way of saying that.
Here,
Here,
put
eat
this in your
this.
mouth. Yeah, eat this.
Eat it.
This in your
Give it to
face.
China. She'll eat anything.
All right,
I
so
wonder if
before
it'd
we
be
go,
possible to
should
capture
I...
creatures that way.
Only if
Next
they
time
can
you're
fit in
facing
my
one of these
mouth.
creatures,
Yeah.
do you like eating them? I can't even say that with a straight face.
Well, then I must try.
All right, so are we about to leave?
I'm feeling
Yeah.
much better. Thank you for letting me take that rest, y'all.
I'll stick
So
near
it's-
you. If we start to get
Everybody-
into trouble again, I can cast that again.
Thank you.
All right, so everybody come in close. You gotta be within 15 feet, I think, and then I'm gonna hit the button
All right.
and hope we don't like get electrocuted.
Yeah, so the backpack starts to go and it shakes. Actually, it's vibrating pretty significantly on your back, and it starts to get warm against your back. And the little antenna thing that's sticking out starts to get these little sparks going. Bzzz, bzzz, bzzz. And then all of a sudden, in this sort of hemisphere around you of 15 feet, there's just this. And everyone sort of feels like you're briefly sort of coated in some slightly shimmery force field around you. And then the hemisphere dissipates and the backpack goes quiet again. And but everyone still has this slightly shimmery layer on your skin. And so everyone for 1 hour has +1 bonus to your AC.
Cool.
Yay.
Like staticky.
If you click on your armor class on the D&D Beyond character sheet, you can actually add a temporary magic bonus under customize.
Thank you, Carolina. That is delightful.
I hope this will help.
It's not letting me. I mean, I'm entering it, but it's not letting me note it. Have it.
Well, you can also just remember that it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, I click on the
I
shield.
put it under miscellaneous bonus.
Additional miscellaneous.
Mm-hmm.
I add a 1
yeah.
and do a tab, and it updated.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah, it's there, but it's not actually
Oh.
calculating it.
Yeah, if you tab off of it, that'll So
Yeah.
I did
Oh.
a 1 and then I tabbed off of it and I did rally beacon and it saved that.
There you go.
That's what's good.
All right.
Sweet.
Cool.
Ooh,
All right.
shiny.
Yay.
Should we go?
I like it.
I like it a lot.
Okay.
All right.
Onward.
There's a little door just to your left there, and then obviously you've got a slightly larger room that's sort of bowing into the hallway a little bit here. You can see at the end of this hallway is another doorway on the rounded part of the wall to the south, and then a couple of doorways to the north, here and here. So,
Go up or down?
We
Well,
still
if we
have
go,
that.
if we
Yeah.
go to the room in the north, then
Yeah.
because I think that that's to go up the tower, right? to the
the
south?
tower is
No.
the big round wall area.
Right. So
We
I
don't-
think maybe it makes more sense to do the one in the corner before we head to the tower.
Okay.
Okay.
I do want to make sure that we check the room that I think it was Nedry was at the doorway earlier. That is literally just north of us, and we wouldn't know if it connects further to the left where sequential is.
Yeah.
Trina's
So-
instinct would be to backtrack to get
Well-
that doorway.
You're at that doorway, sequential. Were you going in, or you were waiting at the door?
As long as we go back, I don't need to go there right now, but I do want to make sure that we are in, that we have that,
Sure.
Yeah.
coverage.
We're here now.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and
Alright.
open it.
Go
We've
for
hit
it.
everything on this floor except for these rooms.
I agree.
Nedry is literally staying right beside wherever Trina goes.
Okay.
That has been my mode of operation
Keep freezing.
this whole thing.
All right. So you open it up and you see that there's a large auditorium here where the stage has been very badly damaged, and there's a lot of blood around there as well. And as you kind of look in the room, you know that's what you see. There's also you see that there's a doorway off to the other side of the room that would go back out onto the balcony, and then there's another one that would go into this room in the corner.
This
But,
is where the
looks like it
headmaster was
connects.
supposed to be.
But this is the classroom.
No, this is the auditorium where the headmaster was supposed to be. This is where Onyx Bane told Sombra he was going. I think it was Onyx Bane.
Is there any sign of the headmaster now?
Oh, I hope not.
I mean, there might be some bloodstains.
Are you you all checking out the room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nedry's already forgotten to stick beside China, or Trina is just kind of wandering around now.
It's okay, I'm still glued there.
His red shirt is so red.
He's got a little red on him.
Crimson.
So as you're all kind of in the room, you're kind of standing there, and then all of a sudden, a chair from the south side of the room just flies across the room right by your head, sequential, and then shatters against like the edge of the stage. Like it something hurled it with tremendous speed. Like it just like zips off the floor and goes and crashes right by you.
Somebody doesn't want to see her.
Did it come from the north or the south?
From the
south.
south, but you don't see anything
Yeah.
there. I mean, you see where the chair was, but you don't see anything where it came from.
I wonder whether it was invisible or just part of the house.
Is that? There's no open windows. It wasn't a gust of wind.
Is there something small that I can pick up?
Yeah, just like a little piece of debris. Like there's the
Yeah.
arm broken off armrest of a chair.
Okay. He picks that up and then walks a few feet away to see if it tugs back.
It doesn't.
Might not have been the space. Could be something invisible.
But then what happens is, hang on, one more thing. Oh, got the wrong. Getting ready to do a couple of things here. So, as you are up there on the stage, kind of trying to figure this out. Make a strength check.
Sure. 3.
Ooh.
Nedry, you are yanked off your feet and you fly across the room, slamming into the east wall at at speed. Hang on, I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. Boom. And you are going to take 10 bludgeoning damage.
Ow.
Seems like a lot.
That a new spell?
As that happens, all of you see just the hint of a spectral like figure standing at the center of the stage. But even as you are like it seems to flare into barely visible when it did that, and then it turns invisible again. And we're rolling initiative.
Now we are.
And I think that's the first time I've actually been hurt.
All right, so everyone roll initiative.
Inspire.
God.
Sequential locked. 7.
Oh, that's weird. That's not what it's showing on the.
Yeah,
Huh.
it didn't take it.
Well,
The,
make sure
the-
your token has to be selected, or else it won't.
It
pop.
was.
Okay, I believe you. I sometimes these things are a little quirky. We don't always have to mention it. You can just fix it. It's fine. I
Okay.
don't mean to be short about it, but it's just otherwise that's all we'll talk about.
Weird, because the when the dice rolled, like it showed a 19, but then it only took it as a 13. So I don't know what was going on
I don't know.
there. Okay, I'm okay to not go first this time.
All right, everyone have their new initiative in there.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
They.
Okay, so Nedry, you actually get to go first now. Like you landed prone, but it's your turn, so you can stand up if you like. I would imagine.
Yeah. I would like to stand up.
I'm going to go defensive and then take the rest of my movement, which isn't much, to kind of edge my way around towards where China is.
Okay. So the dodge action.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else from you? No?
No, that's it.
Okay. So then it is another thing's turn, as from this other room, floating through the closed door, you see a spectral figure of like indistinct features, but the one thing that you can make out on its face is this sort of devilish grin. Hey, Zinhorn, you happen to be standing closest. First... Oh, no, it doesn't get to do all of that. So I think would it just go ahead and make a charisma saving throw, please?
Charisma saving throw.
It actually just occurs to me that this is, well, we'll see. An 8.
That would be an 8.
Yeah. It moves into Zinhorn's form, and then Zinhorn suddenly, like jerks, and then smiles much like that spectral figure did. Zinhorn, you are now possessed.
Possess the cleric. Thank you.
Yeah. And
Great.
again, it's like he just happened to be the one that was standing the closest. That's really the only.
Damn it.
But yeah, that is a problem.
I mean, technically, I was like catty corner from it, so. But
Yeah, but no.
it's done.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, you're too good at that.
Crap.
Stop.
So, yeah. Any case, so that happens, so Trina, it is your turn, You just saw this thing float right on into the into Zinhorn's form, and then he seems to match its expression now.
Yeah. She is standing there with her scimitar and looking around. Does she see anything other than Zinhorn to hit?
No, I mean, you saw where that sort of ghostly figure on the stage was, but then it disappeared.
Yeah. And Nedry, you're over near me now, right? You're
Well,
not
no,
still
he's
over-
still across the room.
I'm going in that direction, but I'm very slow because I had to stand
Oh,
up.
He got hurled
Okay.
across the room, so he's on the other side
okay.
of the room now.
Well, shit. This is literally her thought process right now. She's literally saying shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's entirely appropriate right now, I'll say. I mean, I'll confess, when I kind of was working out the balance of this, I didn't really take into account that it might possess the cleric.
This is unfortunate. She is going to hold an action. So she can only hold an action, or she can hold movement too, because I don't think I've ever asked that before. Because what I want to do is, as soon as there's something to hit, I want to run to it and I want to knock the crap out of it. That's what I want to hold, but I just
Okay.
don't remember if movement's a part of the hold.
Generally speaking, no.
Okay. Well, she's going to have her scimitar and her short sword ready, her holding action to attack anything she can attack within range.
Okay.
Hopefully
Would
it's not
that,
Zinhorn.
hypothetically, I was just going to say, if Zinhorn were to try to attack you, would you attack him back?
Hypothetically.
You don't like the way he's
It would be
looking
an
at you.
unarmed attack.
Okay.
An unarmed attack, like I'm gonna try and slap it out of him. But, oh, shoot, I don't even know she would know this, so hopefully you don't mind me taking a quick look to see what the damage
I mean, you can do
on unarmed strike
non-lethal
is.
even with weapons, right?
Yeah, if it's melee.
An unarmed strike would be 5 bludgeoning, so she's gonna do, that's the least amount that she can do definitively, so that's what she would do. If
Okay.
it's Zinhorn, it'll be an unarmed strike.
You can't really make that distinction with a held action, because it's basically your reaction. It's something you would have to do, like, all of a sudden as a quick reaction.
Sure.
So, I mean,
Then it's going to be an unarmed strike against anything, because I'm not going to risk hitting Zenhorn with a
Okay.
weapon.
all right. So,
Am I?
you tell me. I don't know.
No, I won't. No, it's too early for that. She's still a
Okay.
sweet girl.
All right. So, Carolina, it's your turn. You saw the same thing that Trina did. Zinhorn's expression is very unsettling right now.
Well, I will smile back, and I'll say, "How are you feeling? You want to talk about it?"
Counseling in the middle of combat.
Just as persuasively as I possibly can to try to provoke conversation as opposed to, an attack.
Okay.
If possible.
I wish to provoke conversation.
Yeah. So you
Both
say
opportunity
that.
conversation.
So you say that, and in Zinhorn's body, he looks at you with a piercing stare, and in Zinhorn's voice, although with an affect different than you've ever heard him use, says, "I know what you are."
I know what you are.
So that's the response to your attempt at conversation there, Carolina.
Okay. I'm going to. He hasn't tried to attack.
Well,
So,
no,
I mean,
not yet.
technically, this isn't like provoking anything because I'm just gonna step back one square, so I'm still in range here,
Uh-huh.
right next to Trina there. Just gonna say, I think we got a problem.
All right. That's it. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
So on there's another entity's turn. The ghostly figure is going to use its telekinetic thrust, and so sequential. Another chair looks like it was trying to hit you before, and it's going to give it another shot. So the chair is hurling itself at you, and it's going to gets a 12 to hit.
Miss.
So you are able to evade it as it smashes against the wall, splintering it into pieces. All right, that would be its turn, and now Zinhorn, it's your turn. But you find yourself unable to control your own body. It feels like a very profound violation is that there is another entity that has usurped control of you in a very, I would imagine, scary and unpleasant way. It feels like a uniquely malevolent entity.
Can I get rid of it? Can I push it out?
Right now, there's nothing you can do.
Okay.
I think what you know is it is going to use you to attack your friends.
Kind of thought that might happen.
Sequential, it's your turn.
Sequential thinks this is futile, but we'll go ahead and cast Fairy Fire
Okay.
on the stage, a 20-foot square.
Huh.
I guess just at the center of the stage, hoping
Excellent.
that thing didn't move.
Yeah, hang on, let's see. I'm pretty sure that this is going to work. I'm just double checking exactly how that
Yeah.
works. Because it is invisible. Never know how they spell fairy.
Any creature in the area outlined in light.
How do they spell fairy in the spell? Is it F-E?
AER. Oh, wait. Display on tabletop.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, okay, I mean, I guess it's,
Each object's
you know, it
outlined
is
in
literally,
violet light.
and the affected creature can't benefit from being invisible. So, yeah. Well, let's see if it makes its saving throw, right? Dexterity?
Yeah. Dexterity 13.
All right. I'm afraid it got a 17. So,
Wah, wah.
yeah, you see, sort of, as the fairy lights sort of sparkle across the stage. What color? Purple? What color?
Violet. Yes, definitely.
Violet. Yeah. So you create
Amethyst.
this. Let me put that on the right layer so you guys can see it. Yeah, as you create that sort of vicinity of sparkling purple light, you see that there's a little bit of a swirl, and you realize that there was something there, but it has evaded the magic. But you suspect, though, that is something that could theoretically work. It just managed to beat the roll.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't. Where should I go? I guess I'll go ahead. Whoops. Not measure. I'll go ahead and walk over here to help.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So, Nedry, you are up again. This doesn't seem to be going well at the moment.
So, what would be his impression of what happened to Zinhorn? Is it clear that it's a possession? Does he know anything about possessions?
Yeah, I think so. You're proficient in religion. I think that you know enough about that, like, there are undead things that can do that. Ghosts in particular. You don't know if that means that this thing is specifically a ghost kind of creature, but it did absolutely seem to do the things you would expect from a possession. It moved in and sort of inhabited him, and now seems Zinhorn seems to have taken on its affect. I think you think that that's what happened.
Okay. And I know that Trina is really, really strong, right?
Yeah.
And I know that Zinhorn is not nearly as strong.
You would be surprised. Zinhorn is very strong.
Okay. So let's see, get the right thing. Yeah, he starts to jog over. Oh, that doesn't look right. Zinhorn doesn't look right. I think Zinhorn's been possessed. You'd better hold on to him, Trina. And he slaps Trina's leg and casts protection from good and evil on her.
Okay.
Then I will look at. I will once again slap the book. Now here's the question, because it doesn't say that it can only be one target of the book. Can I do the repeated grant temporary hit points to another person and have two of them active? Because they're no concentration. There's no.
Is there like
it's limited by the
does it
number.
use it-
There's number of charges a day.
Right. Yeah. So if you use another charge, then yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So he will slap the book. As he touches her, gives her the protection from evil and good once more. Looks at Carolina. You're pretty good in a fight. This will make you better. And he kind of concentrates on her. Blue energy flows out from him and around her, granting her 11 temporary hit points. And he
Refreshing.
also gains a couple from that too. There, just make sure you hold on to him, Trina, so he can't hurt himself or anyone else.
All right. So that's
That's it.
yeah. Okay. So I think. I think that, Zinhorn looks to you, Trina, and kind of heard this being yelled, and he is going to attempt to swing his mace at you and attack you with it. But because of the spell that Nedry just cast, it's an attack at disadvantage. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So. All right. Well, so that's still a
Jeez.
20 to hit.
Well, 20 is going to hit, yeah.
Yeah. He does 7 bludgeoning damage as he smacks you with his mace. And then he just says, "Oh, that feels pretty good." That is that ghost's turn. But Trina, it's your turn now. You can do your held unarmed strike. So
Muscle up a
roll the attack. Yeah.
I love Zinhorn, but So that's 16 to hit.
That is not hit Zinhorn. He is
Ooh.
armored.
His
Ooh.
armor's boosted.
Yeah.
Damn.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So then I get my regular turn, correct?
Yes, that was your held action from the last round, and now it's your turn.
I might say this is probably making Trina very, very angry.
I know. I really feel angry, you guys. This really, my friend just hit me.
Yeah.
Me, my friend.
Are
Well,
you
I'm-
enraged?
I'm so enraged, y'all. So enraged. And because her back is to most of you, the only thing that you really notice is, of course, her ears are jingling. But you see kind of wait, I wrote it down because I knew I would forget when I started talking. Okay, so She focuses inward, her posture changes, and a trick of light turns into substantial. And Balti, who you've seen before, comes into vision again. And then she gives a wink to Trina, and 3 of her friends appear too that she hasn't seen yet before. So this gives her not just the boost to her strength and her damage and resistances, but it gives her just like this big like emotional boost, you guys. She's got little tears in her eyes.
Your friends from back home are here with you to help.
Yep.
Whoa.
Introductions later. For now, she is going to go ahead. She's going to swing her. So the other stuff had to be hit by magic to land. She's going to swing her short sword at Zenhorn.
Okay.
Can she have listened to Nedry's suggestion?
But how's she going to knock it out of him? Okay, so she holds him.
You just had to hold him.
She holds him.
You want to make a grapple
no
attack?
fun at all, and she holds him.
All right, so make a grapple. So that's an athletics check.
Okay.
That's with advantage because she's raging, I believe.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. So make your athletics check with advantage, and let's see. Yeah. So
Ooh,
you
critted.
are. Oh yeah, nice. So
Natural 20
Zinhorn,
plus
in
6.
attempting to resist, got a 19, but that's not as good as your 26. So you have grappled Zinhorn, and so that would count as like one attack. If so, you don't have extra attack though, right? You just yeah. So
Yeah.
So, but you have grappled Zinhorn. He is grappled. All right. You use your bonus action to rage, so that's going to do it.
So yeah, folks are protected if Zenhorn does get an attack off on them. Not protected, but they've got resistance and stuff.
Yeah. So basically, if he attacks anyone else, he will have disadvantage, and you will be resistant to the damage. And I think a grapple attack counts for that. So yeah, so that's Trina's turn. Carolina, you are up.
So I have a mechanical question here. How, if I use bardic inspiration on Zinhorn, or conversely unsettling words, who does that affect? Zinhorn or the possessing creature?
It's a good question. I would say that, like, the entity is using Zinhorn's body on its turn, not Zinhorn's turn. And so I feel like your magic can sort of distinguish the identity, not the body. And so I think you could theoretically give inspiration to Zinhorn that the ghost in Zinhorn cannot.
All right. So, since this creature is grappled, I'm going to assume that it probably can't make an opportunity attack.
No, that's not technically true. It would have disadvantage on the opportunity attack, and you would be resistant to the damage, but it can make the attack. It just can't move to follow you.
Okay. So,
Because this is not like a full Nelson or anything. It's more just like she's got a grab on him and he can't get away.
okay. Let's see. Pick my song here. Okay, so trying to focus on my friend, whom I'm trying to protect, and I want to give him an advantage if he gets any chance to be free of this creature. And I am going to cast Bardic Inspiration.
Okay.
And so as she moves, she's singing, "Spirits tremble, empires falter, hearing the ballad of storm and stone."
He does swing at an opportunity attack against you as you move away, but it's going to be a disadvantage. So that's there's a 6 already, so that's probably
Not,
not gonna do it. And then so he misses with the opportunity attack. And so Zinhorn, you have heard a song about one of the legendary high priestesses of Rushama, and you've been granted bardic inspiration with it. So in a moment, when it's your turn, we'll talk about that. But first, the other entity is.
I
Oh,
was.
go ahead.
That was just bonus action.
Okay, yeah,
So
sorry, go ahead.
Is this fairy fire thing still going on?
I think,
Stage is glowing,
yeah.
yeah, but it doesn't affect you if you walk into it.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3.
It's concentration. Would you have kept it up if it didn't work the first time?
No,
No?
no, probably not.
All right,
Yeah,
it's probably dissipated then.
yeah.
And that
So
puts
it would take
me-
5 extra movement to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could move 2 there, but basically you climbed up onto the stage, so that would be 5 feet extra movement. But you
Is
can do that.
is that 15 feet from Nedry?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in that case, standing there, I'm going to cast Thunder Wave.
Mind slipper.
Okay.
Oh.
One question though. So when you passed through that square, you just felt very cold for a second. And almost there's almost a little bit of a sensation like walking through a cobweb, but you didn't feel anything. But Thunderwave, huh?
Yes.
All right. And that's what, a Constitution saving throw?
Yes. 14.
All right. It rolled a 19.
Ugh. Well, then it's not pushed away, but it does take. First, let me cast it. And it will take half damage.
Okay.
That was not a great roll, but yeah. So it'll take 3.
Unfortunately, it is
Yeah.
also resistant to thunder damage, and so it's only going to take 1.
But I know it's still here, guys.
You got to hit.
But yeah, I think you can,
Ping.
for just a moment in this shockwave, you see the air sort of shape itself around something right in front of you. So like you do for just a moment, see that it's there before. It is invisible. You only saw the effect that it had when the shockwave passed over it.
Could I tell anything about the shape of the person? Like, I mean,
It's
humanoid-ish.
It's vaguely, yeah, but kind of very wispy.
Okay. And I'm brace because I know there's something coming.
All right.
I'm done.
Okay. So that is Carolina's turn. Now it is its turn, and it's going to do something different than it would have a minute ago. So I think that Carolina should make a strength check.
That's not going to go well.
Oh, well, it rolled pretty bad too, so we'll see.
Yep. Nope.
Oh, well, you rolled badly enough that it still fails compared to its bad roll. And so you are hurled across the room. In fact, you are hurled back the direction you came. So 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, boom. And you're going to take...
Ouch.
9 bludgeoning damage and land prone as you are hurled across the room by a strange telekinetic force.
Oh, those temporary hit points are coming in handy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
All right. And then it is Zinhorn, it's your turn. You are gonna feel like you're struggling against this violation, but with the benefit granted to you by this inspiration, I'm going to allow you to try to repeat the saving throw, which is a charisma saving throw. but you can use the Bardic Inspiration die.
And that gives me an extra 1d4?
It's a 1d6.
1d6. Okay. It was almost a 20.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, 9 is still
9.
not-
Well,
oh,
plus a d6. Hold on.
Oh.
15.
That's enough. You expel
Yes!
the ghost.
Yay!
He's back in the fight.
Yeah, so hang on, let me... Yeah, so you are struggling against it, and you're hearing its voice in your head say, struggle all you want. But then you find solace and peace hearing this song of a priestess of Rushama, and you are able to muster enough internal strength that you force the ghost out of your body.
Plus, you're being
Yay!
hugged. You're being hugged really closely.
Yeah, you are still grappled by Trina, so you might... that's the end of your turn, so you can't really do anything else, but you succeeded in expelling the ghost, so good for you. All right, Sequential, you're up. You did just see the ghost, be blasted out of Timur's
Yeah.
body.
I like that. But I'm out of spell slots, but I have Shocking Grasp.
Okay.
I'll reach out at it and boom, 12.
Okay, a 12 does hit.
Woot!
Mhm.
So let's see. Ooh, 6
All right. It is
lightning damage.
It is only going to take 3 of that because it is resistant to lightning damage.
Oh, it can be hurt.
Yeah. And then hang on, I have to fix that. Yeah, okay. Okay. That makes it. Are you going to stay where you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Nedry, you're up.
So he looks a lot better now, and the creature just pushed out of him. That's good.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess I have to try Plan B, but that's good. I'm going to. We have a lot.
I will be back in just 1 second.
Okay.
So lightning didn't do that much.
It was resistant to lightning damage.
Resistant, yeah.
Well, let's try another experiment.
I'm going to cast Chromatic Orb. I'm going to make it thunder damage.
Okay.
Let's see.
Wait, isn't that what
That was
that what
on the
Carolina
other one,
tried?
but yeah, it was
Carolina
on the other
tried?
one, but it was resistant to that.
Oh, it was resistant to that?
The other
it
one
was a different creature,
Yeah.
but
yeah, it was.
Oh, well, we'll switch it up and make it poison damage. Nah, poison damage doesn't kill the dead. Thunder damage, I'll stick with that.
All right,
That is a 19 to hit.
19 definitely hits. Yeah.
Okay. That's terrible. 5 points of thunder damage.
Okay. Yeah, it's only going to take half of that, but it does take
aw.
that half.
I hit it.
All right.
Um,
Check that one off.
and he's going to, let's see. He's going to, let me just check, He's going to move to the other side of the room.
Okay. All right. It is now the ghost's turn. He does not regain his ability to possess. I'm sure you're all grateful.
Yes.
So what it does, though, instead, is it's looking at all of you, and then it puts its hands up on its face, and as it takes them away, it just becomes this horrifying, distorted caricature of monstrosity, and I need everyone in the room to make a wisdom saving throw.
Except for Trina. Because if it's a fear effect, she's immune.
It is a fear effect, yeah. So you, you find that, this would be scary, but you feel Nedry's magic just bolstering you, and you know that you have nothing to fear from this thing.
Would this be considered a magical effect?
9.
I would say yes. Yeah.
Okay. Didn't matter. Rolled low on both of them.
Okay. All right.
So 7.
Okay. So that's a failure, and it is a failure by more than 5. So we're going to deal with that in just a second.
Oh,
So Carolina also got a failure of more than 5. It looks like Zinhorn succeeded. Did we get Chooch? Sequential?
Sequential was a 9.
Okay, yeah, so that's also a failure, but not by more than 5. That means...
I don't know if I should point this out or if it'll even make a difference, but it rolled a 1.
well, just a moment. We'll address...
it's already worse. It doesn't have to go any
Yeah.
further.
So, sequential was also, yeah, so all of you that failed are now frightened of the ghost. What that means is that you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while you can see the ghost, and you cannot make yourself move closer to it. But you can repeat the saving throw at the end of your turn. But Nedry, you failed by more than 5. You are now going to age 20 years.
Oh,
What?
Carolina,
My voice dropped.
yeah. Carolina, you
load of your
age
testicles.
40 years. So, Carolina would age 40 years, but here's a question.
Moisturizer, girl.
Well, I was just gonna say, well, like what? So I would ask each of you. I have told you what the effect was. You describe to us what everyone else would see.
They see her very afraid.
But no different otherwise.
Nope.
No. All right. What about Nedry?
I mean, that's more than twice his age. So I would imagine. I mean, I forget how long
You weren't
gnomes live. They
10.
live pretty long.
You weren't
Hmm?
10. Were you 10?
He's
years
19.
old? Okay. Well, you age. Oh, okay. I see. I
And I
thought
aged
you were
20,
saying
so-
20 years was more than twice your age. Okay. I get it.
No.
Yeah. I follow.
But
But yeah, gnomes have a long enough lifespan. It might not be that different.
Yeah, it kind of it would be one of those weird effects where it's sort of like his eyes get a little harder, and then his cheeks grow a little bit more sallow, and not a lot of visible effects. Actually, his hair probably becomes a little more vibrant, weirdly enough, as he's aging. But otherwise, just you can kind of see behind the big thick glasses that he wears that his eyes are completely wide.
Yeah.
And he's already at the other end of the room and starting to look towards running out.
All right. Trina, it's your turn. That thing just scared all your friends. First it possessed one friend, now it scared the others?
That's not very nice.
No. We'll get
So
it.
she's gonna swing at it.
Yeah. I would assume that you release the grapple on Zinhorn and then move around.
I mean, if I have to, yeah, I do.
I figured.
Hit him with
He was
Zinhorn.
littler. I could just put him on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna put Zenhorn down gently, and then attack that big beastie.
All right, a 22 definitely hits, yeah? And this is
Oh,
your
nice.
magical scimitar.
Simmy.
Ooh, max
And that's-
damage, too.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it takes all of that damage and looks shocked as it is wounded by that blow, and it's surprised. Ah,
Suffer.
yeah. The smile fades
Actually-
just a little.
Actually, that's 2 more points of damage for the
Oh, for plus the rage,
for
right?
rage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so then the short sword, which I know. So that's
Okay.
that's actually that's not a +2 to hit. it's just a
13
+2.
does hit though.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah.
good. And then that's 8 points of damage.
All right, yeah, and that's not magical though, so it's only going to
Sure.
take 4.
Yeah. And because I've attacked it,
Mm-hmm.
my
Your effect.
yeah,
is remains
Balti
in
will
play.
raise her trunk and she will go in front of it and she'll signal to the others and they'll encircle it. So
Mm-hmm.
4 Loxodon ancestral protectors are circling it to protect
Right.
my friends.
To draw its attention to you and away from the others.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, Carolina. Your turn.
So I'm frightened,
Yeah,
and I attack with disadvantage. Is that right?
correct.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm just using a spell, we'll do. Yeah, I'm gonna cast. Just because I didn't like that very much. And like her lips kind of move and she can't really look at the thing, but she knows where it's going, so I cast Dissonant Whispers.
Okay.
And that is a Wisdom 14 saving throw.
Okay, is that like a charmed effect or I'm trying to remember how that spell works? Hang on.
Let's see. It takes psychic damage, damage control. I don't
Hang
see.
on. Yeah, it's a debuff, so it's not a charm effect. Yeah, so that should work. So it makes a saving throw, yeah?
Yep.
Sorry, I don't have wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
Okay. It gets a 5. So it fails.
Okay. So now it takes 3d6.
It's not resistant to psychic damage.
And it has to, so it takes 8. It's got a crappy roll. And then has to, it must immediately use its reaction, if available, to move as far as its speed allows away from me.
Oh shit. Yeah, it does. And not only that, but Sequential, Trina, and Zinhorn all get opportunity attacks as it's moving away. So
At
we'll keep it there
disadvantage,
for the
though, right?
moment.
Do the spirits follow it?
Technically, yeah, like because the effect is still on it. But disadvantage for Sequential's attack, yeah.
What do I? Oh, melee. All I have is dagger. Wink.
Can I
a
cast
nine.
a spell, or
No,
does
only
it have to be melee?
No, it has to be
Has
a
to be
melee
melee.
attack. It can be
Okay.
like your mace.
Unless you have a feat that lets you take a spell, but you probably don't have that yet. There
No.
is a feat that'll let you do that.
Right.
That'd only be a 9 for sequential.
Okay. Yeah, that won't hit. But how about Trina's?
So do I get
An
a
8
single
won't
attack, or do I get both weapons?
Just
to
one.
attack?
Just one.
Okay.
But it can be with your scimitar.
So that
A
is
16 does hit, yeah.
16 to hit.
Mhm.
And
I think your rage attack still counts, even if it's a opportunity attack. So, oh wow,
Ooh.
so 13, huh?
13.
Yeah, it is not entirely destroyed, but it is extremely bad now. Like it is almost completely dissipated.
Nice.
But it flees into the other room, and what that means is that now that it's out of sight, those of you who are frightened are not at disadvantage anymore, and you will have advantage on your saving throw when you try to make your next one.
Nice.
Which Carolina can do right now because it's the end of her turn.
And that was wisdom?
Wisdom, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
13.
So you would have advantage, but 13
Oh.
is actually enough, so you're no longer
Oh,
frightened.
okay.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah. Good job.
Yay!
Um,
I helped.
Yeah. Make a strength check.
Not good at these.
It rolled crazy low again. Let's see if you can roll low enough.
A strength check or a saving throw?
Just to check. And you're lucky you're not frightened anymore because you would have been at disadvantage. Ah,
6.
that is high enough, believe it or
Oh
not.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you find that suddenly you're feeling this force attempt to lift you off your feet again, but you're able at the last second to grab onto like one of these, rows of attached chairs, and it's not able to lift you off your ground that time, off the ground that time. All right.
Let's talk about this.
Okay, Zinhorn, it's your turn. This thing looked really hurt, and it just fled into the other room.
I'm going to go into the other room.
You see in there is
I see
another
nothing.
destroyed bedroom.
Nothing but shadow.
No, you see another destroyed bedroom in there,
Okay, so
and it's all the way in the corner.
I am going to hit it with guiding bolt.
All right. Roll your attack.
13.
A 13 does hit.
10 points of damage.
You see as your radiant bolt, streaks towards it. It strikes it, and you can see him sort of like trying just through sheer will to hold himself together, but it's shaking too much. And he just looks up at you, and he kind of smiles, and he just says, "Free," and then he disappears.
What did he say? Free?
Yeah,
Free.
Oh.
but he is destroyed.
All right. One down, one to go.
All right. So, any other action on your turn?
I'm going to come back out and move toward the center of the room here
Okay. All right.
to start addressing the invisible thing.
Okay. Sequential, your turn.
They are going to. Well, they're going to throw the detonation of soap
Ah.
onto the stage.
Okay.
I think I'll move up a little closer and toss it, and makes a 10-foot sphere of slippery foam. And my hope is that we'll see it in the foam. I don't think it'll restrain it in any way, but
Oh man,
I mean, the area is obscured, so
Well,
at the very least, it can't see. But
no. Well, see the. The reason I'm hesitant here is I'm just going to go ahead and stick with the rules because that's very cool, and I absolutely wanted to have you guys with a soapy poltergeist that is visible now because it's covered with suds, but it moved. It's not there anymore. So sorry.
hey,
10
that's
foot
important
radius.
info.
Sphere, yeah. So let's see. That's going to be. I always feel like a 10-foot radius sphere. Like, is that supposed to be? What? Like, so I guess
Yeah,
a 10-foot
I think
radius.
that's right.
No, so I guess it would be a little bit bigger than that, right? It's because it should be 20 feet across. There we go.
This way we're getting a head start on the cleaning, right?
Yeah.
it's just gonna go back again later anyway.
Boy.
We'll
Yeah.
start soaking those blood stains.
Yeah. So
they'll come
now
right
this,
up.
it's basically that area of the stage in the circle is now covered with slippery foam. But you see definitively that, like, if it
think
was
it
there,
moved.
it would be visible in that suds, but it's not.
do I get to make a saving throw?
Yes, and with advantage, because you don't
was
see the thing you were afraid
wisdom?
of anymore. Wisdom, yeah. Yeah, 17 will succeed.
Yay.
Okay. Nedry, your turn.
I don't know. I feel so mature.
Do you feel wiser?
I think he's going to cower there and stare intently at any sign that this invisible thing might be attacking.
Make a perception check.
No, 11.
Okay, well, I'm rolling. Basically, what I'm doing is for it's rolling stealth with advantage because it's
Yeah.
invisible. So let's.
I was more thinking he would hold a spell.
Yeah. No, yeah, you can't see it. I mean, I'm not necessarily requiring you to make an action for that, but you look around, you can't tell where it is.
Okay. Well, I see him kind of glancing around, and he's probably still looking at that far door, waiting for that thing to come back out. He's not quite convinced yet that, and
Yeah.
the fear hasn't gone away. The adrenaline's still pumping through his body, and he feels weird.
Yeah. Oh, so you failed the saving throw again, or did
I haven't rolled yet.
Oh, yeah.
That's at the
go
end of the
ahead.
turn, isn't
Oh,
it?
sure. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to hold a spell. He will look
Okay.
intently in the open space, kind of looking probably more in this direction anyway, but just because this one's all filled with soap. And I will hold a spell, which I didn't realize I wasn't the only one who have, but I will hold Mind Sliver.
Okay. So go ahead and make your saving throw with advantage. Trying to beat 13.
That's a 17.
17 is enough, so you're no longer frightened.
Yeah.
Oh, that was not good.
Okay. Trina, you are up. You know that you felt your psychic resonance with your family back in your home plane. You confirmed for you that thing was destroyed. So you have to find your new target now.
And it's still invisible, right?
Yep. You know it's not in the blue circle.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've got two choices with Trina. One would be. No, I just don't even. I think I'm going to do the thing that we talked about to maintain rage, because anything else I do,
Yeah.
her rage could drop unless she happens to
Right.
land a hit on something she can't see.
So just for everyone's know-how, Viv and I talked about this a little bit. Like, traditionally, one of the ways that barbarian characters will try to keep up a rage is by like hurting themselves, and I think neither Viv or I really like that. So what
Yeah,
is
we're
it that
anti-self-harming.
Trina does? What does she do instead to keep herself sort of pumped up in the rage?
So what we landed on, and I'm not sure how the damage part's going to play in, but we just we talked about a couple things, and Christiana landed on like chanting, and her
Yeah.
psychic companions would join in to help her maintain the fighting spirit.
Yeah. So what is she chanting?
Cool.
Well, I kind of grabbed, you know me, I always go for the song lyrics, but I won't sing it because I'm not Starla. But it just goes, combat baby, come back baby, fight off the lethargy, don't go quietly, combat baby, said you would never give up easy, combat baby, come back. And she'll say that as her spiritual companions will kind of like be gathering alongside her, and she's going to be walking up the stairs. Where's my little controller thing? Walking up the stairs to where we think it is, right? We think it's somewhere in that.
Well,
Not-
all you
not
know
within
is
the
that
blue
it's not in
circle?
the blue circle.
I have my guess, but I don't know how to impart that. We know
Yeah.
it's not in the circle. We're fairly sure.
Okay. Well, she's going to stand in front of Zenhorn anyways, because he was just recently, possessed, and so she's just going to hope it hits her first this time.
Looks like I've got you right on top of Zinhorn. You
Oh,
probably
Say she disappeared.
Yeah. You want to be like there?
Just between him and the blue circle, because
Sure.
she doesn't know where else
Yeah.
the thing could be, but
Yeah.
that's
So
where his...
you're just on the edge of this, soapy detonation. I really thought about Rule of Cool and just like I'm gonna make that work, even though I had actually decided that it moved. But no, I
She's
Yeah.
not going to be in it, though.
Fair's
I don't
fair.
want to have any...
It's a cool
space
idea,
to
though.
be-
I want to we'll figure something out. But but yeah, she's not in it, but you're basically at where you're just like towing the edge of it. Okay. And so you're like holding an action in case you see it or
Can I also hold an action? 'Cause I
Yeah, but
wasn't
it would only be if like it were to be adjacent
right
to you.
there.
But you could
Absolutely.
make a swing if you
Yeah,
were to
definitely would
believe
like
that
to
there
do
was
that.
reason to do so.
Yes, please.
All right, Carolina.
Did Zinhorn tell us what the thing said as it departed?
I mean, I don't think so. You didn't say anything about it coming back in.
I just realized that the guy who was possessed went into the room after the ghost, and then just comes out looking fine.
Yeah, it's all good now. Nothing to worry about anymore.
We're all
I'm happy
fine
because we
here.
beat it. Right?
How are you?
Yeah,
Like,
it's not
she will-
here.
she'll kind of look around, and this one feels a little bit different than the others. And it's like, can I apologize for that spell? We don't really want to hurt anybody, but we don't know how to get out. Do you want to talk? And I'll actually hold on to Mind Sliver in case it does attack, but I don't really want to.
Sure. Make a persuasion check.
I'm good at those.
Okay.
18.
All right. So you don't hear any notable response. But what happens is that like one of these desks up on the stage flies across the room at you, Carolina, but then hits directly to your side in a way that feels deliberate. And it hits like
Get
on
it?
this side as though like intended to like you I guess you don't know necessarily what that means, but it feels like that could have hit you and didn't.
Thank you, I guess.
Zinhorn, it's your turn.
Okay, did I see where that piece of furniture came from?
It came from off the stage, or like it was on the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't know if that means that it had to be right there, though. I'll say it was like right here. That was the one that.
That went flying.
Yeah.
I am going to try and use the wasp drone.
Okay.
I don't know if it can see invisible things, but I can't.
Gosh. Yeah. Let me think about that. All right. Hang on. Yeah. Let me look at that. So you hold up this little thing that's almost like an EpiPen or something. You press the button, and emerging from the other tip, the other end is like this little clockwork wasp that buzzes away. And like, where are you telling it to go?
I'm telling it to go where I saw that furniture come from,
Okay.
which would be, you said it was here?
Yeah. So I'm gonna make a little like, well, let's say that's the wasp.
Yeah, right about there.
Yeah. So what it does is it flies over there, and it starts sort of buzzing around, going, but it doesn't seem to be hitting anything, or like it's sort of patrolling that space.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem to encounter anything there.
That was my action.
All right, sequential.
Well, all I really saw was furniture miss, but I was totally out of ideas to try to discover it, and I was actually going to hold an action anyways.
Okay.
That if you know, that hold a firebolt. Although, I mean, my thought was if I saw it, I would firebolt it. I didn't think to put a condition like if it looks like it's attacking.
I mean,
So yeah,
you're gonna
I'll hold firebolt.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. All right.
And if it poofs, I'll release it.
All right, Nedry.
Got our usual mixed signals.
Well, yeah, this is a complicated one, because just the nature of this thing. I mean, and I can understand too that like you did a couple of smart things designed to ferret out invisible enemies, and it just the dice didn't give you your way.
Nedry still looks quite a bit shaken, but kind of takes a deep breath. Okay, and sort of walks forward towards the stairs. So, are you one of the students?
So actually, just as you are at the base of the stairs there, you suddenly feel very cold.
Is that you, or is there a draft? Are you a student or a professor or something else?
Okay. You feel a little bit like you walked through like an icy cold cobweb and then stopped there, or are you still standing there, or what?
He stopped there. Yeah,
Okay.
no, he's standing there in it, trying to keep where it was. I feel cold. Is that you? And he's just calling out to it. That's the entire thing. He's not good at persuasion, but
Okay.
he's curious.
All right. Okay. So you can make a persuasion check as well.
Yeah, well, I can try. Yeah, that's an 11.
Okay. All right. So, Trina, your turn. Nedry seemed to like sort of shudder and stop short of where he had been trying to go.
Trying to decide how much havoc I would wreak upon myself if I go through the middle of that circle to get to him. Because she wants to just run to him. It sounds like he's alarmed, and that's the first indicator of anything in the room.
Well, you would make a dexterity saving throw to avoid falling prone if you run through it.
Do I have advantage? Because I have advantage on dex against effects that I can see while not blinded, deafened, or incapacitated.
Yeah, you would.
So that counts, right?
Danger sense, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, let's see. I really just want to see what happens
All
too. Right?
Ah,
So-
Foam
sure.
party.
Yeah, absolutely. So make your dexterity saving throw as you step into the sudsy area.
With advantage.
With advantage,
So I'm
yeah.
Twice. Oh, 19.
There you go.
Okay, yeah. So you succeed. And in fact, if you like, I will allow a risky business style slide on your feet.
Oh, hell yeah. Is there actual foam sitting there, like foam party style?
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
Okay,
like
then
that.
then I want her trunk fully extended up like it's a periscope, but we know she can't see out of it.
Yeah,
So
well-
like hopefully the only thing you see is her sliding
by
through
smell?
on her. Yeah.
Well, it's
And
only a couple of inches deep, the suds, but
Aw.
it's slick all over.
Well, she's gonna
across-
strike that pose anyways because she
Yeah.
wants it to look badass even if it
Yeah.
doesn't. And
That
so yeah,
old
she's
fashioned rock and roll.
yeah, so she's gonna slide through it and she's gonna have her scimitar.
So Nedry is standing there. Are you like in any kind of a weird position or anything? Because you're still feeling like this cold.
Yeah, it's kind of
ethereal
like he's trying
presence right around
to
you.
trying to touch and see where the shape of this is. Sort of like his, this far out, and kind of his
Yeah.
hands would be look like he's holding something, probably.
Well, she's gonna get within. She's gonna be just. She's not gonna swing at Nedry.
I mean, you could
but
swing right
she's-
over his head if you wanted, because
Oh,
he's
yeah,
short.
she could, couldn't she?
In 20 years, he still didn't
Carolina
grow an inch.
react.
I mean, what would your reaction be? You can,
to
like maybe say a
intervene?
few words. I mean, you tell me what you want to do, Trina. I
I
think
want to.
Carolina can yell something, but not something long, like
No,
four
wait.
words. Yeah.
That's it. That's like.
Trying to just throws her head back and repeats the earlier chant.
Okay, you're
Since
standing
she
like right
can't
on the edge of the
swing.
stage there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
okay.
she's holding her scimitar ready to swing, frustrated AF, definitely maintaining her rage as she repeats that chant. And her spiritual pals that want her to hit things are standing next to her to support her. She's holding her action.
Okay. So Carolina, it's your turn again.
So, I'm not gonna move fast.
Mhm.
Just gradually, kind of. Would there be like anything that's not any kind of flat surface?
I mean, what, like the
I mean, I
floor?
guess I could use the
what-
floor, but
yeah.
like, I don't know, any kind of like small table or something that's not broken. I don't know.
I don't know what you want. What are you trying to do?
You're gonna have to tell us.
Yeah. So
Use
my
your
my
words.
goal here is to draw it out because this one is different, and I think communication is possible without violence. I think it's just very scared and it needs to calm down. So I would like to play a game.
Okay. Oh, you want to set out the shell game?
Yes.
All right. So you pull up a little table and you start setting out the shell game. Yeah. Okay. Here's what happens is that the little table and the shells that you start to set out lift up in the air and fling themselves directly at you, but they only get a 9, and so you are able to duck out of the way as it attempts to throw the little table at you. And the shells kind of go scattering.
Am I near any
Uh,
indication?
yes, and actually, Nedry, as you are standing there, you feel the thing moving away from you to your south. And so
Sorry, what?
you
I feel it
you
moving
are
away.
like you're standing in it. It moves
Okay.
away. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
You feel it
okay.
moving away. You are no longer like in its protoplasmic presence.
Can I tell which direction?
Yes, to your south, which is why I said you can feel
Oh,
it moving
south.
away to your south.
I thought you said self, and it didn't make
No,
any
okay,
sense.
yeah. You can feel
It's
it?
moving towards the door.
All right. Do you react to that, Trina?
Yes, mightily. Swing.
Okay. All right. Well, roll with disadvantage because it is invisible.
That is fair.
Okay, well, that's a shame that it's not, because it would have been a
Holy-
crit, but it's still a 13, which
That would have been a
hits.
crit.
It does hit, though.
Hit both of us. Okay. So that's. I still have rage, so it's another 2 points
All right.
damage.
Yeah, you feel it contact something, and for just a moment, there's a sort of swirl of air around Trina's scimitar that indicates that she's made contact with something, and it's you don't think it's entirely dissipated, but you did hit it.
Sweet. Which means that everybody's protected.
I think that's
Because it
only
hit.
on your turn, though. The first attack on your turn.
Oh.
Well, you know.
While raging, first target I hit on my turn. Oh,
Yeah,
you're
it's
right.
reaction. I'm sorry.
Stupid.
But I'm glad you're on top of the feature, though. But yeah, so but that said, you did make contact, though, so you kind of have that going for you.
I hit it. We can hit it. I
Yeah.
hit it.
So Zinhorn, it's actually your turn now.
Did I happen to see approximately where it was?
You saw where she struck, where she swung, and then she said, "I hit it. I hit it."
Okay.
But it would, yeah. Would it be just before that or just after that the table flew?
So basically, it was just after the table flew.
Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
So, hold on. How far can I move? 30. I can move 10 more. I've got pretty good line of sight on it.
Well, there's yes and no.
On the
On
invisible
the
it,
location where you believe it to be.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I am gonna try a guiding bolt.
Okay, so you're going to attack with disadvantage because it's invisible.
All right. So that was a natural one. So the second roll doesn't matter.
No. So, yeah, unfortunately, the guiding bolt strikes the wall and doesn't seem to have hit anything else on the way.
Well, thankfully it didn't hit Carolina in the back.
Yeah.
Not that, you know,
You know, it happens sometimes.
it happens sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Sequential, you're up.
Similarly,
you had your held firebolt, right? I'll let you.
but I
do
didn't
that.
actually see anything. Like,
I guess that's true. Well, I mean, I would allow that trying to swinging at something and seeming to make contact. I would let that count.
cool. Then yeah, the held action would be the
Yeah. So firebolt with
the
disadvantage.
firebolt.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 7's not going to do it.
Right on.
Okay, but now it's your turn,
And-
proper.
On my turn, I don't really have anything more exciting than just to lob another firebolt
Sure.
where I think it is. You know, like where I think it's over there. So
Yeah. Disadvantage.
disadvantage.
Ah,
12.
A 12 does hit.
All right. That's fire damage. 3 points of fire damage,
Okay.
or 1 point of fire
Yeah.
damage.
Mm-hmm. So, but you did see the firebolt strike
But-
something in midair, though, at that location. Yeah.
Ping!
So, Nedry.
Ping!
Yeah, you're right there. So you definitely saw the fireball strike something in midair.
Was there any sense of what it looked like? Did it have a shape at all that was outlined by that?
I mean, you occasionally had just the barest hint when it was enmeshed in some other sort of field that it seemed maybe vaguely humanoid shaped, but like it's hard to say because it's essentially invisible, and the only time you ever saw anything else of it is when it was sort of negative space created by something else.
Nedry kind of looks thoughtful and starts kind of like looking through his notes. Wait, are you Sombra? We're not your enemies if that's the case. We're just trying to find out what happened here. That's it.
All right.
Trying to put the puzzle together, that's all.
Trina, you're up. There's no apparent response, at least yet.
Okay. There's nothing to swing at, so she's going to repeat her chant.
Well, now, I mean, you just saw Sequential's firebolt strike in the same area that you attacked before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You still have disadvantage, but
Yeah. Basically,
shit.
it hasn't had its turn yet. You attacked as an opportunity attack, essentially.
That's right.
Um,
Okay, well, I'm going to attack
Yeah.
again with disadvantage.
Yeah, it's a shame because that would have been a crit again, but 23 will definitely hit. Yeah.
Rawr.
And is that 9 with
And
the
add
rage?
2. That's not with the rage.
Okay, so 9 is the total, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
exactly what you needed.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you are able to you slash through, and you see just again these wisps of smoke, sort of as though a person's form was smoking. You see just the smoke lifting up briefly, but then it disappears.
Does it say I'm free? I'm free?
It
Sounding
doesn't
happy?
say anything. That one didn't ever say
Aw.
anything. But then hovering above the stage in the middle of all the soapy suds, though, is another mote of light.
ooh,
So I
one was
want to watch
different.
that movie.
Who wants to step
Yeah,
back into
Nidri
the
looks a little
suds?
disappointed because he still doesn't know what it was. There was nothing worse than an unanswered question.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nedry, I tried.
we're gonna have to slip and slide
We
to
all
get to
tried.
it.
Yeah, we all tried, but
Yeah, yeah. We
All right,
go.
dexterity saving throw, sequential.
Well,
That's a 12. That's a failure. You fall prone.
whoa!
Well, at least we know it works.
he's
I
hoisted by
could-
his own petard.
I could give it a shot.
Dexterity
Not
saving throw.
dexter-
You managed to keep your
22.
feet. Yeah. You go up and you sort of you boop the moat. All right.
The thing.
Of course she does.
Okay. So
Home party.
in that spot in the center of the stage where you sort of initially encountered that sort of the invisible feature, you see a spectral image of you think might be a fire genasi. Like you don't get much of a sense of coloration, but the sort of the features are sort of distinctive, and the hair sort of seems to move a bit like flames, but is standing on the stage and watching towards the door. And as this shadow wreathed creature that you've seen come all throughout enters, he holds out his hand and says, "All of this bloodshed for a misunderstanding. Please, we have him here, but you must stop." And the creature hesitates. And then coming from this other room, you see a young man emerge. But it is the young human that you saw the face changer change into in the other scene. And he comes out and he looks a little bit beat up. And the shadow creature approaches hesitantly. But then you see the headmaster, who's the one standing on stage. I guess you infer this. Holds out a hand, and a big dresser flies across the room and strikes the shadowy creature, like crushing it against the floor. And then the young man figure stabs with a glittering sword. And so this, for now, finally, you see all of these writhing shadows seem to sort of dissipate and settle down until you see a feminine figure who is still, like, you don't get much sense of features except for a basically feminine silhouette, who's clearly, like, holding her side like she's wounded. And she says, "You don't understand. You must not break the wards! Please! And the headmaster says, "You've pressed us to act sooner than we had planned. But if you will surrender now, we can watch the ritual together, and you'll see that we have everything under..." And at that point, the young man who had stabbed her is kind of just grinning, satisfied that he succeeded in wounding this creature that had done so much damage, sees that she's dropped a bag, and he picks it up and he's reaching inside to like see what's in it. And all of a sudden you see him get sucked into the bag, and then the bag just drops to the floor. And then at that point, taking advantage of the surprise distraction, you see the shadowy, the wreaths of shadow emerge from her again. She attacks and kills the headmaster. But then the wreaths of shadowy energy fade again, and it's just her. She's clearly extremely wounded. And then there is a sound of some sort of a magical energy rising from upstairs, and you see her look up in that direction and then start out just walking now, limping a little bit, injured, heading out towards the tower. And I think that's actually where we're going to stop for tonight.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah. That was great.
All right.
All right.
So
That was awesome.
I'm glad. So, well done, you guys. So we have some people in the chat now. So briefly, if anyone has questions for the characters that you would like them to answer in character, go ahead and pop those into the chat. We've got one already for Peyton Poke asks Sequential, how familiar would you be with the Heroes of Legend, or any Seikamian lore for that matter?
I suppose I'd have to do a history check, which I'm not proficient in. Yeah, I don't know if word would have gotten to Gregholm.
Was he around when the message went out?
Gregholm certainly was.
Well, but Sequential.
I don't think Sequential is
yeah,
aware of
probably
the
not.
message. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get the impression that if Sequential didn't ever make any effort to study it or learn about it, you might have only just heard like passing references that, there must be these legendary heroes that people talk about, like the Heroes of Legend, but you might not know any detail about it.
Yeah, they've studied religion and they've studied, arcane, but not history. So there'd definitely be some overlap from the religion side, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But not much.
Yeah, so we've got a little bit of a meta question here that involves some meta, because we have from Smartamaster, question from Carolina, why didn't you age? Now, I'll add here that that's a good answer. The other player characters wouldn't necessarily know that anything should have happened, right? So only we, the meta audience, know that something should have happened, but by that means that's how they can ask this question. And so Carolina is not entitled or not required or obligated to answer in any way other than she would see fit. So
Because I am filled with secrets.
Yeah.
yeah, there you
Maybe
go.
it's Maybelline.
This is more true than listeners might believe. I'm not allowed to look at her character sheet. I don't know what the hell's going on. Just smile and nod.
All right, so I think maybe we'll leave it there for tonight. But next week, we will continue. There's only a little bit more to explore here in this mansion. Next week we find out what's in the tower, and I won't say what it is yet, but there's going to be another surprise next week too. So you'll have to wait until then when we play more D&D on so many levels.
So many levels.
So many levels.